properties are without power after a windy night. The outages stretch from Lyndoch in the Barossa to Goodwood to Glen Osmond to Brighton. There's no estimated time as to when all customers will be back online. And the SES has been called to dozens of jobs. Many are trees down in the northern and eastern suburbs. An unexpected stop on an Adelaide-Melbourne flight when the winds kicked in late yesterday afternoon. A Qantas plane made an unscheduled landing at Edinburgh. It flew onto Adelaide Airport a few hours later, landing at 8:10. Gusts over 70 k's an hour, prompting the first diversion of a commercial flight in recent memory to the RAF base. The conditions also resulted in several other flight delays and a cancellation. In Victoria, 2 people have spent the night under police guard in hospital after an allegedly stolen car hit a school bus, forcing police to fire shots in Geelong while school kids were inside. The man and woman from New South Wales were arrested after allegedly driving at police, then reversing into the bus as it tried to flee and colliding with another vehicle. Commander Melissa Webbers says it was very lucky no members of the public were injured.
I'm really dismayed to see such violent and reckless behaviour exhibited by this offender who put our community at risk, who put our police at risk. And we are really fortunate today that none of our community and none of our police have been injured in this incident.
National Cabinet will convene in Sydney today with the hopes of finally landing a funding deal for hospitals. The Australasian College for Emergency Medicine says any agreement must address reducing pressure on EDs. Dr Stephen Gourlay says EDs are being overcrowded with elderly patients who are unable to return home.
So we're hoping that the government will really start to tackle this in a meaningful way, create the aged care beds that we know that are needed, and relieve the pressure on our hospitals.
The first UK patients have received Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip as he expands the human trial across the globe. More from Mimi Becker.
Patients have described it as magical and medical experts say it's mind-blowing. 21 people across the world, including 7 in the UK, now fitted with billionaire Elon Musk's Neuralink device. The technology essentially allows a form of telepathy. People can control their laptop or phone using their mind as the chip translates signals into digital commands.
Margot Robbie has channeled Elizabeth Taylor at the world premiere of Wuthering Heights, the Australian actress wearing a necklace Richard Burton gave Liz on her 40th birthday. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with tennis first. And the Australian Open women's finalists have been decided with Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina both advancing. Sabalenka had a straight sets win against Alina Svitolina, while Rybakina took care of Jessica Pegula to set up a blockbuster final tomorrow night. It's men's semi-final day today with Novak Djokovic taking on Yannick Sinner, while the other semi will see Carlos Alcaraz up against Alexander Zverev. Well, Australia has gone down to Pakistan by 22 runs in the first of 3 2020 matches. Adam Zampa took 4 wickets and says it's good learning ahead of next month's World Cup.
It's pretty alien for some of the young guys, particularly in the group. We've obviously got a very different squad to what we have in this series as what we'll have in the World Cup. So a lot more experience comes back then, but exposing those guys in the middle order, particularly to conditions like that, it's going to be good for them in the long run.
The Aussies had 3 debutants in the match as Cam Green top scored with 36. SA skipper Travis Head made 23. Let's go to soccer. Adelaide United coach Anton Andrioli admits he's not sure whether he's going to start hat-trick hero from last week, Brodie Burkett, or bring him off the bench for tonight's A-League clash against Macarthur FC. The Reds are searching for a 3rd straight win. Meantime, in overseas action, the Europa League group stages will wrap up this morning. Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest among the clubs in action. And it's early in the first round of the Farmers Insurance Open on the PGA Tour. Aussie Jason Day off to a good fast start with a couple of birdies, putting him 3 shots off the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, and we're another hot one today. Mostly sunny 41, partly cloudy tomorrow 32, Sunday partly cloudy 25 and Monday 29. Right now it's 28 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
No more. Ugh. No more.
Try Arbor Vitae Joint Health for the relief of pain and other symptoms associated with mild arthritis and inflammation. Arbor Vitae is wellness backed by science. A clinical study on Arbor Vitae Joint Health can be viewed at arborvitae.com.au. That's arborvitae.com.au. Now on sale at all Chemist Warehouse stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa, building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
From Cairns to Canberra, Perth to Port Macquarie, you can rely on Red Spot to provide the perfect ride for your next holiday. We're the only Aussie family-owned and operated car rental company in airport terminals and cities all over Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
This state election, it's a fit-in with you thing, with more ways to vote than ever. Enrol today or check your enrolment at ecsa.sa.gov.au. Voting, it's a good thing. Authorised by M. Sherry, Electoral Commissioner, Adelaide, South Australia.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodies.
7 minutes after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. Feels like we should be opening the show with the song in Groundhog Day, where he wakes up and knows that it's going to be the same thing again, because it feels like it's the earlier in the week again, because all eyes are on the Weather Bureau's website. It is 28.3 degrees outside at the moment. It was 30 for much of the evening. It was a hot one. Unlike earlier in the week, though, we have widespread power outages this morning. As you've just heard Melasha say, just under 3,000 premises without power this morning, largely concentrated through the inner south and inner east, so Nord, Unley, Burnside, Kensington Park, Hectorville.
It's a better class of blackout.
It's pretty democratic. You get out north, you've got Clemzig, around Clearview. That one looks like it's probably Lightsview out that way. Parafield, Salisbury, arcing all the way up to Craigmore, and then furthest north in Evanston Park. All of them little blackouts. None of them, I'm not going through the usual, there's 1,700 here or there's 500 there, because it's 2,997 premises without power, but none of the individual areas are greater than the 244 in either side of Walkerville Terrace this morning that don't have power. So I imagine there's some pretty hot homes in Adelaide today. We're going to get the latest from SA Power Networks on that and try and get a sense of when all that's coming back on or what the cause is behind those various things. The concerning part is, and I just clicked on the Vale Park Walkerville one, the status reads thus: due to the large number of faults, power restoration is taking longer than normal. We apologise for the inconvenience. It is going to be seriously hot again today as well. While you are inside and while the sun isn't up, enjoy what is going to be a massive morning on the radio. Did the Barmy Army cause the RBA to raise rates next week? This narrative's knocking around. We're going to talk to the Barmy Army's managing director before 7 o'clock, get some answers. Did they exact the ultimate revenge for losing the Ashes? We'll find out before 7 o'clock. There was a plane that made a rare diversion to the Edinburgh RAF base last night due to severe winds at the Adelaide airport. Why and how does that happen? We'll find out very, very shortly. And the headliner today, the leader of the party that right now is polling as the second most popular in Australia, Pauline Hanson, will be joining us after 7:30 on 5AA Breakfast. And a good opportunity to talk to Pauline about South Australia and her plans here. Of course, we've got a state election coming up very shortly as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. More like the Barmy Charmers, not the Barmy Army. If anyone in the government's trying to blame visiting English tourists for causing inflation to surge back up again, that looks like a pretty transparent red herring to shift the attention away from...
It's a cute line.
The huge role that surging power prices yet again played in driving up inflation. And even though the government keeps denying it, extravagant and unchecked government spending. All the economists are saying that that's part of it. Jim Chalmers says, no, that's fine. Oh, he says the Reserve Bank isn't worried about that either. That's not true. The Reserve Bank has made comments about...
Public demand, they call it. They use coded language because they don't want to be political. Yeah. So they're never going to overtly say, well,
what's public demand?
Public spending.
Yeah. But is that sort of saying demand insofar as it's the public that's demanding it and the government just has to go along with it? I
think it literally translates to government spending.
Hey, did anyone else have their entire backyard blown to bits last night by the wind? I dead set thought our massive gum tree was going to land on the house.
Really?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
No, we didn't get anything.
It was like a cyclone for hours.
Maybe I tell you what, if that's the... of course it's the case, you're saying it. Looking at the SA Power Network's outages map, I wonder if that's precisely the corridor of places that experienced a significant wind event yesterday, because there's nothing in the western suburbs this morning where there's an outage.
Oh, so you're saying it's because of the wind?
Well, I don't know that it is, but I think it's an interesting idea. It is concentrated in that sort of through the inner south and the east. Nothing northwest, nothing west.
As my mum always says, here come the gully winds. Well, they came with a vengeance last night. They didn't even feel like gully winds. But it was weird. It was really weird. And the moon was really bright, but it was all... There was like this sort of dust cloud in front of it from everything blowing around. But I said to the kids, because we love our gum tree. It's a protected tree as well. Like, wouldn't dream of chopping it down. And it's amazing like how many birds use it for housing, like for their homes. There's kookaburras in it all the time. There's rainbow lorikeets in it. They go berserk when all the pollen comes out in January. Possums live in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I said to the boys yesterday, listen, after school, don't even think about going near the tree. And they're like, we're going to play soccer. No. 3 minutes later, I went out the back and I went, far out. And he said, hey, kids, come with me. I said, how Dad always says, on hot days, on really windy days, you're not allowed to go under the gum tree. And they're like, yeah. I said, have a look on the lawn. There's a 3 metre long branch.
Wow.
Wouldn't have killed anyone, but if it fell the right way, it could have actually cut them really badly, because the base of the branch where it snapped would have been probably 30 centimetres in diameter.
Yeah, that could do some serious damage.
And really sharp and not a clean cut, obviously. It just snapped. So it would have plummeted straight down from the sharp end. But it was unbelievable. It was cyclonic. Well, it wasn't quite cyclonic.
Michael and Rostrever's called in on this weather. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, guys. The last several days here in Moriata, which is the Moriata Park, backs on to Woodford, Rostrever, McGill. They've been extremely strong for the last several days. In fact, I sent a photo through a couple of days ago via text of Gumtree over the Moriata Park Road entrance.
Yeah, we mentioned that, Michael, with your dog. You've got a Dalmatian, haven't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And you're quite right. I'm surprised that the gully winds, if it is gully winds, have gone that far into the metropolitan area where you are. But yes, you're right. The winds have been super scary strong. The point where you feel like the roof is going to lift off your house.
Yeah, it was like that.
Wow.
It was like that at Wayville yesterday.
Good on you, Michael. Thank you. Let's go to Parafield Gardens. Margaret, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I just want to have a chat about the fact that you said there wasn't much going down in the northern suburbs. I was coming home from Gawler last night about 9:15, and my little Mazda 2 was nearly getting blown off the road, and I thought, is that a little bit of mist? But it was actually almost like a dust storm or a mini sort of tornado.
Wow.
Yeah, and there were small rocks hitting my car and going underneath my car as I was driving home.
Wow.
It was absolutely crazy. And the amount of leaves around our house when it was all cleaned up yesterday, it's just relentless.
Yeah.
And again, like the gentleman before said, I just thought the gum tree outside our house was going to land on my roof. It's just been crazy. Like, we normally have winds like this kind of in summer, but nothing ever like this. This is the worst I've ever seen.
Wow, that's a great account, Margaret. Thank you.
A lot of texts as well. Heaps of texts. Guy in Highgate says, yep, Dave, massive winds all evening here in Highgate. We've got a big lemon-scented gum in our backyard. It's been carnage in the backyard. Big clean up this morning. Rita also in the northeast says, boys, the winds were and still are insane in Campbelltown. Tim in Greenwith says, so bloody windy out here yesterday and last night, still very blowy. And Steph wants us to play a Nicki Minaj song to make up for the hardship of having listened to Bruce Springsteen yesterday. We might do that at some point, Steph.
All right, 16 after 6. We've got a meat tray to give away today as well, thanks to Liam Joner and the team at My Local Butcher. Chanella's 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Lots of talk to start the year about Adelaide Writers' Week. I think most of it's been a curiosity for most of Adelaide because it's not, I'm convinced, the broadest demo of people that get along, but we want to come up with a new democratic Adelaide Writers' Week.
Well, Constellation's going to take the world by storm after yesterday's publicity here on 5AA.
We want you to come up with the 5AA Writers' Week. Who's your favourite author? Who would you go along and see?
Can we put a bit of a supernatural asterisk next to this one, Will, and say, and also if you had a time machine, if you could bring back a writer
they don't have to be alive. It's an excuse to talk about everyone's favourite authors and favourite writers. 82230000. If you could put together your dream Writers' Week featuring your favourite author, who would it be? Get calling now, 82230000. You could win that meat tray. Thanks to My Local Butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect.
At Coles, it's your last chance to shop, scan, win, in-store and online. Simply spend $20 and scan or link your Flybuys for your chance to win money off your shop. Ends Feb 3, must be 18 years plus, limits, exclusions and T's and C's apply. SA permit T25/1893.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip, even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
Now, 1 in 6 Aussies live with some sort of hearing loss. Wow. But if you're over 50, listen up. That increases to 1 in 3. So if you noticed over Christmas your loved one isn't listening or is becoming distant, it might not be selective hearing. They're not ignoring you. Rather, it's time to visit the experienced audiologist at Can Do Hearing for a simple, painless screening.
You get expert advice on whether you need a full hearing test, and from there, whether or not a hearing aid may work for you. Can Do Hearing let you choose from SA's largest range of hearing aids, which vary in terms of features depending on your goals, and your goals might range from things like wanting to hear the doorbell to being able to go to a busy cafe very comfortably. In fact, they've improved so much, these devices, in recent years, that you can hardly even see them. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing today. You'll find them in 9 locations all around SA, including the recently expanded Blackwood Clinic.
And the best part is profits go to Can Do for Kids to fund therapy services for children with hearing and vision loss. Visit candohearing.com.au.
The latest Star Discount Chemist catalogue is packed with red-hot summer specials. You'll find Hydrolite Effervescent Electrolyte tablets, 20 tablets in assorted flavours, just $11.99 for relief from dehydration symptoms. Always read the label and follow directions for use. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
G'day, Flipper. What's up? The little one doing freestyle through the breakers? Yeah, that's my kid. What do you mean he's making you look bad? Sorry, mate. He's a state swim kid.
For over 50 years, State Swim has built stronger, safer swimmers through trusted teachers and proven programs. Become a State Swim kid. Visit stateswim.com.au.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes after 6, the meat tray. Thanks to Liam, Joanna and the team. My local butcher, Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. We're asking you for some help to put together the Dream Adelaide Writers Festival featuring your favourite authors of all time. So as David said before the break, it doesn't have to be realistic. They could be alive or no longer with us. Your favourite authors, ladies and gentlemen. Yuri and Beaumont can start us off. Morning, Yuri.
Geez, hey boys.
Good thing. Is yours Gary Lyon?
No.
Robbie Flower.
First of all, last night at Beaumont, dinner woke me up about 11:30, so we had a blackout, and the text said it's going to be back at 4 o'clock. It didn't. It came back at 1:30. They were quite good about it up that way, though.
That's good.
I think the picture would be David Penberthy up on the podium there in this famous white suit with a white Mexican hat promoting his new Mexican cookbook.
Oh, Yuri. That's an excellent way to get us started. And you know what? It'd be a nice bridge between the old Writers' Week and the new one.
Yeah, well, that's right. They need to find people who are prepared to turn up.
Exactly right. Thank you, Yuri. Sally in Hillcrest, who's coming to your Dream Writers' Week?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Sally.
Enid Blyton.
Oh, good one.
Oh, yeah.
Magic Faraway Tree.
Famous Five.
Absolutely.
The Wishing Chair? The Wishing Chair was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Wishing Chair and the Wishing Chair again.
That's
or
right.
Wishing Chair Returns, whatever it was called.
Oh,
They were great books, weren't they?
My childhood having those books read to us was just such great memories.
Yeah.
I think they've been totally brutalised by political correctness.
Yeah, probably.
Let's go to Linda in Hallett Cove. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning. David Penberthy. I saw you in Aldinga just after Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Linda. At the supermarket.
Yeah, you're being a foodie again, you know.
I was buying the
But
Mexican
you
stuff
remember
at
me
Drake's.
because I told you were much better looking.
You
in the
tease,
flesh.
Linda.
Than, we all know Will's good looking, but
He
you were
was
much
good.
better looking, yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I hide my light under a bushel, Linda.
Well, do you know your glasses? I'm looking at you on the TV as well. Your glasses are on the end of your nose.
Makes me
It's
look
not a good
intellectual. I know. I'm doing it to pretend I'm smarter than I really am.
Since I saw you, I've had a footy injury. Not
Oh,
going to
no.
play footy. Well, I thought I tore the ACL, but turned out to be. And people actually said to me, "How did you do it?" I said, "Oh, well, I was playing footy, you know, with the pros."
Yeah, you took a hanger.
I'm only 69, you know. So anyway, yeah, I've had a few things happen since I saw you, so I'm blaming you for that. But anyway,
I'm sorry, Linda.
My author is Agatha Christie. She must have had an incredible mind.
Yeah.
My husband worries because every time he walks past where I've got my TV in the lounge, he said, "You're not watching Midsummer Murder again, are you? Or is it Agatha Christie, you know?" So he's getting a bit worried about himself.
You're getting ideas, Linda.
Yeah, well, when the shed door opens from inside look out, he's got this massive shovel. And one of our friends came over, he said, "What's that shovel?" And I said, "Oh, I've got ideas for that shovel."
Hey, you look after that that knee, Linda.
And it was great meeting you at the Aldinga Central.
That's
Linda.
excellent. Agatha Christie, great nomination for the 5AA Writers' Week. I reckon might pack out a talk, old Agatha, if she was around to do it.
Easily one of the most popular writers ever.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I don't know where to start. Geez, it'd be fun. I was just thinking, how much fun would it be to curate Writers' Week?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of calls and texts still about the wind yesterday. The wind had one particularly dramatic moment overnight where a Qantas plane bound for Adelaide was forced to divert to the Edinburgh RAF base due to strong winds. I can't recall too many commercial planes having to land at the RAF base. Our next guest will know more. Mark Hoffmeyer is the spokesperson for the Australian International Pilots Association. Mark, good morning to you, mate.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Mark. So, what was the deal here? What caused it? Was it the winds? We've been talking about the winds all morning.
Yes, it was the winds. I'm quite happy I'm on holidays at the moment, so I wasn't involved with that yesterday. But yeah, watching it, if you want to get technical, they're called katabatic winds. Effectively, you get a difference in pressure and temperature due to, obviously, it's really hot at the moment. And if you picture it, the Mount Lofty Ranges effectively works like a bit of a slippery slide for the winds, so they come down the hill. And unfortunately, their orientation relative to the main runway at Adelaide Airport makes it all crosswind. and you get different levels of wind at different directions at different heights. And my understanding is this flight got to about 100 feet above the ground, and the captain then obviously decided to give it away that it was unsafe. And it looks like, I'm not sure what their fuel state was, but the captain obviously made a decision that the safest course of action was to take the aircraft up to Edinburgh, which if you picture it, it's a bit further away from the hills, so it's less subject to those sorts of winds, so that they are able to put the aircraft safely on the ground and obviously get fuel in before coming back to Adelaide.
So it was only 100 feet off the ground, so he'd just taken off?
No, he was coming into land.
Oh,
so
coming in, okay.
He would have been literally in the flare. Look, these days, due to historically pilots pushing bad situations and there's been accidents in the past, most airlines now have what's sort of classified as stable approach criteria, which is things like your wind, the airspeed, the tracking, the engine thrust. And if those parameters can't be met, you need to conduct a missed approach. The other thing they may have got was potentially a wind shear warning, which also requires the pilots to perform a wind shear escape manoeuvre. And look, the good thing I'd say is that, yes, it was an inconvenience for the passengers, but the one thing that we're not talking about in this country is accidents.
Yeah.
Because, our pilots don't push bad situations.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Great explanation as always. Mark Hoffmeyer, the Australian International Pilots Association spokesperson, who we love talking to explain in detail from a pilot's perspective these sorts of things. It always makes you feel better about it too when Mark talks.
Yeah.
It's all very pilot voice, sort of,
exactly.
It's run of the mill. We just...
You may have experienced a few bumps, but
he's great.
Tray table to the upright position, and we should.
28.3 degrees outside of the city at the moment. Heading for a top today of 41. Another 40-degree day. Go on, get it out of your system.
Is there anyone on board who knows how to land a plane?
There you go. 32 degrees tomorrow. Drops back to 25 on Sunday. That'll be reasonable. The overnight low is 11 into Monday morning. That'll feel pretty cool, but then warms up to 29, 31 Tuesday, 31 Wednesday, 30 on Thursday. That feels like a more routine summer sort of a week. Not too many extremes to talk about there once we get through today, of course. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Get to Agostina, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Big weekend of sport. I'll be there tonight, Will. I know you'll be watching. Not sure if you're going. The A-League clash, the Reds. Looking forward to it. Looking for 3 in a row. I can't wait to see this new kid, Brodie Burkett.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I was at the presser yesterday with Ayrton Andrioli.
He won't start, will he?
I don't think so.
He's off the back of a hat trick. They won't start him.
He's only played 2 games, and I kind of don't mind it, And he made a really good point. He said, look, he's going to have this expectation now that whenever he comes on, people are going to be going, he's going to score. So that I'd love to see him start and unleash the beast, but part of me also thinks, God, he's 19, he's raw. And he'll be copping a bit of attention now for whoever he plays against.
That's right.
And fresh legs in the 70th minute, though.
Exactly. So
because also you're kind of well stocked in those wide attacking positions.
That's
with Trey
right.
Goodwin and Yaya Takuli, and it's remarkable that there's so much depth suddenly in those areas.
They've got some players that have come back.
Yeah.
So the Reds are. Sport's going pretty well here in SA at the moment. We've got the Sixers who are top. They play tomorrow night. We're going to still wait to hear. Most people that listened in yesterday would have heard the audio we played about the brawl. So they had until 11 o'clock last night to put in their submission. So we'll wait to see what sanctions or further sanctions players like Rakocevic get. Hopefully nothing too serious. I think most people are siding with the Sixers on this one, although the Brisbane Bullets hit back pretty hard yesterday and said it was all cheap shots from Adelaide. So I can't wait for that rematch when the Bullets stink.
They're hopeless. It won't be an interesting rematch in the terms of the outcome of the game.
Reminds me of England-Panama in the World Cup about 8 years ago, where Panama just played like the dirtiest pack of sods you've ever seen because they knew they had a snowball's chance in hell of winning.
Yeah.
I think they lost that game 7-0.
There was a bit of frustration, and a bit like that match. It's like, well, we're going to get beaten, so we might as well go down swinging.
Just hacking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, look.
No, kick him out of the competition, I say.
We'll wait to see what happens there. And Jason Horne-Francis back for Port fans, looking pretty good on the track and starting to do full drills. So I think he's my favourite player just about in the AFL now, Jason Horne-Francis.
Great to watch.
So, fingers crossed he's able to put together a big pre-season.
If I was him, I wouldn't be coming back till next week when the weather gets cooler.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Still feeling a bit tight.
Yeah.
Through the weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday after the cool change.
See you Tuesday. Yeah, correct.
Get on, you ready.
Thanks, boys.
We got a very exciting duty coming up next on 5AA Breakfast. We're going to be introducing you to a brand new show on 5AA. That's ahead.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny, 41 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
More than 4,000 people are waking up to no power. Our wild weather is behind the blackouts, the outages from Brahma Lodge to Brighton. The windy conditions have been widespread. 5AA listener Margaret battled some tough conditions behind the wheel in the northern suburbs.
I was coming home from Gawler last night about 9:15, and my little Mazda 2 was nearly getting blown off the road, and I thought, is that a little bit of mist? But it was actually almost like a dust storm, and there were small rocks hitting my car and going underneath my car.
A commercial flight landed at Edinburgh late yesterday. Strong crosswinds at Adelaide Airport resulted in the diversion of a Qantas flight from Melbourne. It eventually flew on to Adelaide, landing just after 8 last night. Well, the Premier has thanked Andrea Michaels for 7 years of service as she prepares to leave North Terrace. The Arts Minister will bow out at the March election. Sickness over the Christmas break prompting her to re-evaluate her future. It follows in the footsteps of former Deputy Premier Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan. Older Australians are waiting longer to receive home care services. Productivity Commission data shows wait times almost doubled to 245 days last financial year. The time it took to be assessed for government-funded support increased to 27 days. US immigration officials are working on a plan to reduce the number of ICE agents in Minnesota. White House Border Czar Tom Homan says the plan is to facilitate a drawdown in federal immigration enforcement forces in the state, but the massive federal presence there won't stop until violence decreases.
The reason for the massive deployment is because of the threats, because of the violence. Our officers need to be protected. If I'm on an operation arrest team, I'm going to a house, I got to be busy with that guy, the dangerous guy, and I can't keep looking over my shoulder at what's happening outside the house. So we brought extra resources in to provide that security.
A man and a woman remain in hospital under police guard in Victoria, one with a gunshot wound, after allegedly leading police on a chase before smashing into a school bus in Geelong. More from Stephanie Wacklowick.
Children were told to get down and hide behind their seats after an allegedly stolen car hit their school bus. Officers were trying to intercept the Kia at about 3:30 yesterday afternoon when it allegedly reversed, smashing into the bus before hitting another car, forcing police to fire shots. Children were heard screaming as the Kia tried to speed away. A man and the woman allegedly in the vehicle fleeing on foot, forcing nearby Matthew Flinders Girls Secondary College into lockdown. The pair, both 37 from New South Wales, remain in hospital under police guard, the man with a gunshot wound to the arm. At police headquarters, Stephanie Wacklowick, 9 News.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
We're getting to the pointy end of the Oz Open, Tom Wren.
Yeah, we certainly are. You're spot on, Mel. And Arina Sabalenka is only one win away from a third Australian Open title in 4 years. She's advanced to the final with a 6-2, 6-3 win over Alina Svitolina. The world number one will now face Elena Rybakina, who defeated Jessica Pegula, also in straight sets. Let's go to football. Port Adelaide will train this morning with Port Adelaide's Jason Horne-Francis hoping to continue his training load as he recovers from foot surgery. Meantime, Sydney captain Callum Mills says the playing group are putting their arms around teammate Taylor Adams. The former Collingwood star was knocked out outside a Sydney club last weekend, which is being investigated by police. Mills telling Wide World of Sports Adams is recovering well.
He came in the other day to see the boys as well, which was nice to see him doing well. But yeah, it was obviously really scary, and we really feel for Taylor in that situation, and we're just glad that he's doing okay now.
Let's go to basketball. Adelaide 36ers import John Jenkins says the players are doing their best to move on following a spiteful finish to their match against the Brisbane Bullets. The league says the league is now investigating if players will be imposed with further sanctions. Jenkins telling Rowie and Timmy G they're trying to move on.
In the heat of battle, these things happen, and I've been in my fair share of these throughout my long career. So we're just trying to move on and get ready for the game Saturday.
Yeah, that game tomorrow will be against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix at home. And in some golf, Brooks Koepka is playing his first event since announcing his return to the PGA Tour full-time after deciding to leave LIV. He's currently 1 over through 9 holes, putting him 7 shots off the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, 41 today, mostly sunny, partly cloudy tomorrow 32, Sunday partly cloudy 25 and Monday 29. Right now it's 28 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa, building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
Gliderol Garage Doors have been manufacturing and installing garage doors direct to South Australians for over 50 years. So, if the new year's got you thinking about freshening up your home, order a new Gliderol Garage Door with operator before the end of February and the operator is free. Safety, security and style. Built to last and made right here. Call 1300 799 177 for a free measure and quote or visit gliderol.com.au. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply.
Now, it's time for us to back the local family-run car rental company, and that company is Red Spot Car Rentals. They've been proudly keeping Aussies on the road since 1989. Red Spot actually started from humble beginnings at a South Sydney petrol station.
You'll find them in airport terminals and cities all over Australia with a new fleet of cars, vans, utes and trucks, plus hybrid and electric options too. And right now, you can get a spot-on special just for listening. There's 15% off every vehicle at every location. T's and C's apply.
So if you need a rental car, you can rely on Red Spot. Book direct and save 15% at redspot.com.au/radio, or you can call 1300 66 88 10 and quote radio.
Last chance. Up to 60% off Beauty Rest mattresses now at Harvey Norman. Last chance to buy an Australian-made Beauty Rest mattress at never-to-be-repeated prices. All stock must be sold. Do not miss out. Harvey Norman clearing Beauty Rest mattresses at up to 60% off. All stock must go. All Beauty Rest mattresses, all stores at never-to-be-repeated prices. Hurry, strictly limited time. Harvey Norman Beauty Rest end-of-line stock clearance, in-store only, while stocks last. Go, Harvey, go! 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 7, police and weather coming up very shortly. Also, can we blame inflation on the Barmy Army? We'll speak with their managing director before 7 o'clock. I mean, they've walked away without the ashes and the stigma of stuffing up the Australian economy. I don't know what else.
What a ludicrous red herring this is.
It completely is. It's utterly stupid.
It's a bit of a stretch, though, the headline Barmy Charming, isn't it? Doesn't really work.
No, I wouldn't have thought.
Trying a little bit too hard.
Yeah, going to have to take that one back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's no such thing as bad ideas.
That's exactly right.
Tell you what's not a bad idea, this next segment.
We've got a brand new show coming to 5AA. I'm glad you endorse it. It is our show. If you're watching on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll see the two newest hosts on 5AA, Sam Daddo and Ned McHenry, who from next Monday will be taking over and broadcasting live each and every day from 5 until 6 a.m. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. Good morning.
This is so exciting, guys.
Yeah, well, we're excited too, and that was a wonderful transition, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That was excellent radio.
It's been ages preparing that one.
Learning quickly. We are very, very excited. I mean, what a unique opportunity. I'm a 5AA listener, like I'm a 5AA fan. It's exciting even just to be in the studio with you guys. So I love the station, I love the audience, and yeah, the opportunity to do an hour in the morning is really exciting.
I got to say, Ned, you've taken the radio like a duck to water, mate. Like seriously, you just sound great. You sound natural. You don't sound like you're going, oh, I'm on the air, I better put on my sort of radio voice. Like you're really natural bloke, and had the pleasure too of spending years working with your colleague Sam Daddo. Great bloke, great producer, a lot of fun. Had a bit of fun outside of working hours too over the years too, Sam, we have together. But you're going to be a great team.
Yeah, it should be a bit of fun. When Ned had the idea, we were talking about it late last year and thinking about floating it to the boss. So obviously thank you to our boss, Craig Munn, for giving us an hour on air every day to have a crack and make sure we inform people and entertain people as they're waking up. Because there are a lot of people on the roads at 5 o'clock and we're live and local here at 5AA. And important to know as well that it's just not going to be fishing. It's just not going to be sport like Neddy's known for and what I'm known for. We're going to really try and make sure if you're waking up at 5 o'clock of a morning, We'll bring you up to date with everything you need to know. Adelaide, South Australia, what we do here at 5AA. And
so it'll be newsy. It's going to be similar to our format.
100%. We're going to lead into you guys, so we'll hopefully...
So they're pitching all the good stories is what they're saying. It's going to be old news by the time we get on
Don't
air.
be too thorough.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Leave
don't want to
something
ring
for
the
us.
Premier or the opposition leaders. We've already spoken to Ned and Sam.
Yeah.
We're like a Timu version, when it comes really small and almost unusable. Yeah.
Sam, any concerns?
We've already had Rand Abdul Fattah on the show. She seemed lovely.
Last week, Ned came in to do some fishing, to some cooking after having fished, and that was great at 8:30. And Ned turned up at 5 to 9. Any concerns about the 5 o'clock start?
So I was going to talk to you as someone who has early starts and a co-host that has been known from time to time to not arrive on time.
We meet every second Tuesday of the month.
Good to know. So I'm going to have to get some pointers from you just to how to make sure he's here on time every day.
Have long intros prepared. That'd be my suggestion. Long intros.
We're the one that went for 28 minutes one day.
And also coming up.
No, it's great. And it's an exciting time to be here too, like with Kate Collins coming over as well. Like there's a lot of good stuff happening here, guys, and it's just a good, fun place to be, I reckon. It doesn't feel like a job.
It certainly is. And I think, look, I'm not trying to lecture on the radio landscape. I'm certainly not qualified to do that. But everything feels like it's transitioning to a national model and, to have something that's proudly South Australian, and that's what this station is. That's what the people here
100%.
are. And everyone's like that, genuinely in the office. Everyone's talking South Australia all the time. So I feel aligned here. I know Sam does as well. It's just the perfect fit. And I think we're just really grateful. We're really grateful.
Well, I think it's a very good point. I mean, how often do you tune into other stations and someone sitting in a studio in Melbourne is doing the show, or the ads come on and they're talking about, Gulwa or what's happening at the Barton Theatre? Like, seriously, you need local people doing local news and local entertainment information.
Monday morning, can't wait to tune in. And folks, give the boys a call. What are you called? Are you Ned and Sam or Sam and Ned?
Early breakfast with Ned and Sam.
Still fighting over the order.
Yeah, I reckon. What is it, an arm wrestle? Flip a coin?
We'll go out to the car park and sort it out, I think.
No disrespect, Sam, but it's Ned and Sam.
I'm just happy to be here.
He will tear you apart. I've seen him take on big men before.
Sam's one major character flaw, massive port tragic.
I know. Yeah. I know. Well, we need to create some balance for the show because I am a one-eyed Crow supporter and I refuse to budge on that. In terms of our station manager saying you've got to provide some balance or you've got to talk about both sides, no, get stuff.
It's Crow. You've got me. You don't have to do that now.
Yeah, that's right. You guys are going to be fantastic. Cannot wait for Monday.
Thanks,
tune in, give them a call, have a chat with Ned and Sam as part of a brand new early breakfast show here on 5AA. Thanks for coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you, boys.
Cheers, guys.
All right, it's coming up to 17 minutes to 7. Lots of good texts coming in at the moment on 044808 1395.
Georgia, one of many listeners who's really excited about it, saying, love this, I'm not into sport, so this is great. And that it also comes with a caveat, love you though, Rennie, no disrespect. Steph says, is it the Barmy Army or Barmy Bowen that are truly responsible for our inflation crisis? And we're getting some really eclectic listeners' choices for the Riders Week, the revamped Riders Week lineup. This is curating our own lineup.
For the meat tray.
I reckon our good mate Rob in Clearview, I haven't asked Will this yet, but I reckon if he had a time machine, he'd be up for this as well. Rob says George Orwell speaking in 2026 about 1984.
Amazing.
Imagine if you could get, and they're both dead, Martin Amos interviewing, or Christopher Hitchens interviewing George Orwell as a Riders Week session.
Be extraordinary. I wonder what George Orwell...
We've had a pick for, and this is on my list too, Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, fantastic.
How good would that be? Anthony, I love that guy so much. What if one of his shows is on, I just go, I'm watching it. He's in Liberia.
I'd love George Orwell to be here to talk, just to get a ruling on how not everything can be Orwellian. Everything these days, anyway, any public policy that gets announced by any government anywhere, someone will say, Orwell predicted this. An Orwellian nightmare. I just want George to be able to go, actually, nah, that's not what I was talking about at all. That's just about using your phone while driving.
We should get Salvador Dali along too to talk about how not everything's surreal either.
Yeah, that's right. Get a few things clarified. Jim's called in. Morning to you, Jim.
Yeah, good morning, lads. I think Trouble with Orwell coming. I don't know if he'd be a real energetic or real bright at the festival. I think you'd have to have a stick to poke him to get him to talk.
Yeah, well, he's been pushing up the daisies for a long time now.
Yeah.
His voice.
Yeah, no, not about that. Just about it in life. Like, didn't he spend years in bed riding a 84?
Well, he was very sick. He had terrible asthma all through his life, and he died quite young.
Oh.
But, he wrote a stack of books. He wrote several
He
books.
did. Mine, boys. I've got while I was waiting, I was thinking of the great Colin Tearley for February's Dragon and Sun on the Stubble and South Australian.
Yeah.
Everyone should read the February's Dragons, particularly this time of year. And Max Colwell, Half Days in Patch Pants. You probably remember from school, David.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the sequel, Full Days in Press Pants.
Yeah, that's
tells you
right.
what happens to City Mike and Fred. And my favourite, John O'Grady, Suderman, Nino Colada. They're a weird mob, gone fishing and the likes.
They're all excellent choices, Jim.
Good on you, Jim. That was terrific. Strong contender for the meat tray this morning, thanks to my local butcher. Chanella's 8223 is the number. Who are you adding to our list for the Dream Writers Week for Adelaide? Let's talk weather. Ursula Connor is on duty at the Weather Bureau this morning. Ursula, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Can we start by talking about the winds yesterday? How strong did the winds get? We've had a plane diverted. We've had so many calls this morning from people who said stuff around their house got blown around the joint. How strong did it get?
Yeah, for sure. We did see some quite strong winds overnight. Largely, we were looking at gusts recording between sort of 60 and 70 kilometres per hour. The strongest gust was at the airport, sort of just before 6 o'clock last night, recorded 72 kilometres per hour. So it was a little windy around. We should see those ease off a little bit as we move into the day today. We're looking at those winds sort of averaging around 30 to 45 kilometres per hour. So still a little bit fresh and gusty, but not quite as strong as what we saw last night.
And what are we looking for today, Ursula? Yet another day with a 4 in front of it, but probably the last for a while?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Another hot day again today. A little bit of cloud moving through the area sort of at times, but a mostly sunny day. Adelaide itself headed for a top of 41, Glenelg 39, Elizabeth 43, Noarlunga 37 and Mount Barker 36 today. But as you said, hopefully the last day with a 4 in front of it for a while. Tomorrow we do see the winds tend more southerly. High pressure system making its way into the Bight. So that's going to bring some cooler temperatures. We got Adelaide heading for a top of 32 tomorrow, but it'll really be sort of tomorrow evening and into Sunday. We see that heat really flushed out. So back to seeing those temperatures in the sort of high 20s to low 30s for really most of next week, and those minimums back down to the mid-teens. So much more pleasant conditions on the way.
Good stuff, Ursula. Thank you. Ursula Connor at the Weather Bureau. Let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes joins us. Rebecca, there was a 2-car crash at Kensington Park overnight.
Yeah, the collision occurred at the intersection of Kensington Road and Glimburn Road at Kensington Park at 11:30pm last night. Both drivers, a 33-year-old Ross Trevor woman and an 18-year-old McGill woman, were both taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It's believed the younger woman has sustained a broken arm in this crash, and both their vehicles had to be towed from the scene. Investigations into the crash are ongoing, but it appears that with all the strong winds and power lines down last night and traffic lights were out, and both cars have proceeded into the intersection at the same time. So really just want to remind people to approach intersections with caution when lights are out. It does happen in times of strong winds and during heat waves as well. So slow down, treat it as a stop or give way sign, and that normal give way rules apply. You must give way to the right. And of course, if police are directing traffic at the intersection, then please look out for us and follow our directions.
Now, this next chap must have a screw loose, Rebecca, on a day like yesterday, talking about wind. But a man has been arrested over the fires in the Riverland.
Yeah, the alarm was first raised just before midnight on Wednesday night after a large scrub fire was reported adjacent to Bookpurnong Road in between vineyards in the Riverland. And yesterday, Murray Mallee Police commenced a search of the area with Polair, and further grass fires were identified in the proximity. A total of 8 grass fires were identified in the area around Bookpurnong. And then just before 6pm last night, police located a suspect hiding in the river, and he was subsequently arrested. It turns out that he's a 49-year-old local man, and he's been charged with multiple counts of intentionally cause a bushfire. He didn't apply for bail and he'll face the Berry Magistrates Court later today. As you said, conditions yesterday were just absolutely horrific, so it's the last thing that emergency services want to be doing is responding to bushfires.
Totally.
We're just thanking the CFS, SES and National Parks for their assistance in this matter.
Yeah.
And also just the local community just needs to be aware that CFS still remain on scene at Catarapco Island in response to fires which are still burning. They're not posing any risk currently to the community, but there may be smoke visible and people are just encouraged to follow the CFS online for any alerts.
Good stuff and good arrest. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes from SAPOL there. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. 9 minutes to 7. We're going to check traffic and come back with more in just a moment.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. First water main to look out for today at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Glenside, traffic lights out, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street. So look out for those works which are always sluggish at Flinders Park, Holbrooks Road near Grange Road. Camera, Midway Road, Elizabeth Park. Snooze Super Summer Sale is on now. Save up to 50% off selected mattresses, up to 40% off selected bed frames, and up to 40% off bedding. Sale ends Sunday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Is stress clouding your mind and keeping you up at night? Are you tired of spending your days and nights feeling stressed, restless and overwhelmed? Caruso's new Ashwagandha 12,500 to the rescue. Caruso's Ashwagandha 12,500 is a high-strength formula designed to offer potent support for stress, sleep, focus and memory. So if you're ready to say goodbye to stress, try Caruso's Ashwagandha 12,500 today. Available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Healthy soil is the key to a thriving garden. Good soil needs a mix of organic matter, nutrients and biology, all of which you will find in Chock-a-Block, a new super compost from Nutrog. Chock-a-Block is a unique blend of nutrition, microbes and humates with absolutely no green waste, meaning it's consistent all year round. Chock-a-Block, easy to remember as it's literally chock-a-block full of goodness. Look out for the green and gold bale in your local hardware or garden centre.
As the new year begins, change is already in the air. Adelaide's property market is shifting and more South Australians are making smart moves towards the future they want with Toop and Toop. Dream homes are being listed, offers are being made, and those ready to act are already a step ahead.
At Toop and Toop, they don't just open doors, they help you move towards what's next. They've spent decades guiding South Aussies through these huge moments. So if 2026 is your year for change, Toop and Toop are here to help you take the next step with confidence.
Toop and Toop, South Australia's most trusted advisors in real estate since 1985. Discover more at toop.com.au.
Tired of scrolling through countless websites to plan your holiday? At locally owned Spark Travel, our travel experts are just a phone call away, eager to hear your needs and craft the perfect getaway tailored just for you. Reach out today for a chat and let's start planning your holiday together. Look for our travel deals in the Sunday Mail. Spark Travel, where your journey begins with a conversation. King William Street, Adelaide. Phone now 88765121, sparktravel.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Six minutes to 7. We did a lot of work yesterday talking about some of the causes behind the surprise spike in inflation that is going to lead to the Reserve Bank raising interest rates, we believe, next week. And some of the things we talked about, the incredible rise in the cost of electricity, which rose 21.5% in the 12 months of last year. We talked about public spending, the fact that public spending as a share of GDP is at about 28% at the moment. That's among the highest it's ever been. What we didn't talk about was the Barmy Army. Yet somehow there is this narrative getting around that perhaps the Barmy Army is to blame for driving up the cost of living and inflation in Australia. And part of what people are pointing at when they say that was that the second largest increase were holiday costs. They surged 7.4% from November to December, and this is where the Barmy Army component comes in. Now, whether it's borne out by the data or not, it's certainly a fun idea that we could blame English cricket supporters for stuffing the economy. Chris Miller is the head of the Barmy Army and joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. Again, we chatted with Chris during just before the Adelaide test, I think. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, I think what's becoming really apparent is either we've got a really, really good PR team in Australia or the Aussies just love talking about us all the time.
I know you're not even in the country anymore, Chris, and you're still making headlines. But it is a bit rough.
Exactly.
After what you just endured, 4-1 result, now you're being blamed for our economic woes.
Oh, I'm taking it very well. I think the only other person that I'm aware of that's pushed up inflation in a country after a tour is Taylor Swift. So to put the Barmy Army in the same category as Taylor Swift makes me a very happy man.
So I understand you're just off the plane having conducted another hyperinflation sort of event in Sri Lanka. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just doing good for the economy around the world. So yeah, and we actually won some cricket as well, which was nice.
Yeah, no, well you did, and hard to do it in the subcontinent. But how'd you enjoy the Aussie tour, mate? Was it we said when you were here for the Adelaide Test how much colour and light and movement and fun you bring to it, but you seem to be the masters of almost living by the Monty Python maxim. Always look on the bright side of life, you guys.
That's it. And that's why the Barmy Army was formed. It's all about positivity and looking for the best in life and the best on the tour. And you know what? We're away from the UK when it's cold in the winter in the UK, and things are good. And Australia's an amazing place to go on a cricket tour and to go on holiday as well. So we had a fabulous time. Shame about the cricket, but we all still had a good time.
That's the same thing Ben Stokes said after explaining why they decided to go to Noosa.
Yeah, I don't think that would have gone down just as well as me saying it. Yeah, it was a great holiday for everyone, wasn't it?
Hey, good on you, Chris. We'll let you get some rest, mate. Good to chat with you again.
Awesome. Anytime, fellas. Cheers.
Chris Millard, who's the Managing Director of the Barmy Army.
There's a really good point that Teresa from Camden Park makes. Barmy Army, right. Well, maybe then they stop all the overseas visitors coming to live. Yeah. Stop everyone coming to gather around. Stop the car race. They bang on about hotel bookings, hospitality spending. Great for the economy. Now apparently it's the Barmy Army's fault.
That's
Give
right.
us a break.
Last thing we need is people coming from overseas and spending their hard-earned money here, apparently.
Yeah.
According to some headlines. Anyway, it's stupid. We were just having fun because we like chatting with Chris. Let's go to Andrew and Kerr's book. We are also having fun with the meat tray this morning, putting together our dream lineup for a FIVEAA Writers Festival. Your favourite authors, living or dead. 82230000 is the number. Andrew and Kersbrook, who would you go to see?
Good morning, boys. How are you? Well, Bryce Courtney, he's my favourite author. But then you'd have to put Harper Lee in there. I'd love to hear her talk about Stuart Mockingbird. And then Stephen King.
Oh, how good would Stephen King be?
He'd be awesome.
He's such a good writer, that guy.
Mind. Yeah, absolutely.
He's got a really good book just called On Writing, about how to write. It's such a good book. It's It's really interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Stephen King.
Good on you, Andrew. He's very political these days, Stephen King.
Oh, he's a mad
This is why I hate. This is one of the least important but small bits of the social media world that I hate. Nobody has mystery anymore. Like once upon a time, you talk about Stephen King, and you knew him because of his work.
Yeah,
and we'd say, "Well, imagine him coming to Writers' Week." Now you go, "Well, I kind of know what he thinks about everything."
Well, that's it. This is where I love the idea. If you could actually curate it properly, in all seriousness, who I would invite to Writers' Week. In all seriousness.
Oh, here we go. I'm bracing myself.
Dr. Randall Abdul Fattah. And I would invite her on one condition, that she is on a panel with the New York Times columnist, Thomas Friedman. And that the session is called Regret. And the topic is, have you ever said or written anything you regret?
That would be fascinating.
And maybe for safety reasons, you make it a ticketed event on stage at the Festival Theatre. But how interesting. And if it was curated by that lovely Asian Australian woman who's super smart, the one who hosts Insight on SBS, who's so good at, in a civil way, leading conversations. And you know what would happen? She wouldn't come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm not going to share a platform with a Zionist.
Yeah.
But I'm not prepared to be deplatformed.
That'd be interesting because that'd be new stuff. It wouldn't be the recycling of old, well-worn opinions.
This is what it should be. People like putting magnets that don't match up together.
Yeah. Michael in Greenacres, who's on your dream Writers' Week list?
Morning, boys. You got me all nostalgic this morning on my morning walk, having a think about the possibility of writers that have passed away. But growing up in the mid to late 80s, Roald Dahl was the first thought that came to my head. The BFG, Twits, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, et cetera, et cetera. So just took me back.
That's a great
on
one.
This long walk this morning, having a think about growing up at that period of time, and they were just such a staple for us kids when we were at school, and tried to get my kids to read a few, and they have, but these days they just divert to the movies, really, don't they?
Yeah, it's harder to get them to read, too many distractions, but yeah, we got our kids into them as well.
I love that. Roald Dahl, what a great suggestion, Michael. You're in the running to win the meat tray as well. We're getting some good names on our list. We might rehash some of the names after 7 o'clock to give you a sense of what our 5AA Riders Week's looking like.
He wrote all his books in a rickety old garden shed too, with no heating.
Well, they kind of read that way, don't they? They feel like they're written surrounded by creature comforts, do they? There's something a bit icky about all of them.
Oh, yeah.
5AA News Time, back in a moment.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 41 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
Large pockets of Adelaide are blacked out this morning. Wild weather has damaged infrastructure, leaving almost 6,000 properties offline. The biggest outage is west of the city, around Mileston, Netley and Richmond. Other suburbs impacted include Dulwich, Eastwood, Tranmere, Wattle Park and Tea Tree Gully. A blackout has been linked to a crash in the eastern suburbs around 11:30 last night. Two cars came together at the intersection of Kensington Road and Glenburn Road at Kensington Park. Both drivers, a 33-year-old Ross Trevor woman and 18-year-old McGill woman, were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says it was extremely dark when the vehicles made contact.
Investigations into the crash are ongoing, but it appears that with all the strong winds and power lines down last night and traffic lights were out and both cars have proceeded into the intersection at the same time. So we really just want to remind people to approach intersections with caution when lights are out. It does happen in times of strong winds and during heat waves as well.
A commercial flight has made a last-minute landing at Edinburgh. It happened late yesterday due to strong crosswinds at Adelaide Airport. Mark Hoffmeyer from the Australian International Pilots Association says it was a Qantas flight from Melbourne.
My understanding is this flight got to about 100 feet above the ground and the captain then obviously decided to give it away that it was unsafe. I'm not sure what their fuel state was, but the captain obviously made a decision that the safest course of action was to take the aircraft up to Edinburgh.
It eventually flew onto Adelaide Airport, landing just after 8 last night. Well, another Labor minister has quit. Andrea Michaels will leave at the March state election. The Premier has thanked the minister for her service. She'll return to the legal profession after 7 years in politics. National Cabinet will convene in Sydney today to try to thrash out an agreement on public hospital funding. The Prime Minister is expected to push state and territory leaders to accept an additional $23 billion in funding over 5 years. The leaders believe that offer from the Commonwealth falls short of its fair share. Federal Health Minister Mark Butler says disability support will also be on the agenda during the meeting.
We've got a report in front of them. We've got money on the table. They've committed money as well to develop this new Thriving Kids program that will give parents and families and young children access to services in a broad-based way, very easy to access.
US immigration officials are working on a plan to reduce the number of ICE agents in Minnesota. President Trump's border czar made the announcement while visiting the state, while also warning the massive federal presence there won't stop until violence decreases. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Arena Sabalenka has won through to a fourth consecutive Australian Open final. The world number one beat Elena Svitolina in straight sets last night. She'll now take on Elena Rybakina for the title in a rematch of the 2023 decider.
We're much stronger mentally and physically, and we're playing better tennis now. So I will approach it as a completely different match, and we have a long history after that final.
It should be a beauty. Rybakina beat Jessica Pegula in straight sets in the other semi. Well, Australia has lost its T20 clash against Pakistan as it prepares for the World Cup, which begins next weekend. Adam Zampa took 4 wickets as the host reached 8 for 168. The visitors, though, then struggling with the bat, making 8 for 146. Cam Green top scoring with 36. To soccer, Adelaide United will host Macarthur FC tonight as they look for a third straight win to continue their climb up the table. The Reds are currently 5th. Meantime, the final group games of the Europa League are being played this morning. Celtic must win to jump into the top 24 and reach the knockout stages, and they've started brightly against FC Utrecht.
Tierney fizzes it in, and there's the opening goal. A 13th of the season in all competitions for Benjamin Nygren, and that will settle the nerves at Celtic Park.
Loving the music in the background, that audio thanks to Stan Sport. Celtic now leading 3-0 approaching half-time. While in other games, Rangers are 1-0 up against FC Porto. Nottingham Forest lead Ferencvaros 2-0, while Aston Villa and Salzburg are locked at 0-0. And in some basketball to finish, the Sydney Kings' good form has continued, recording a 6th straight win in the NBL after beating the Illawarra Hawks 122-104. The Kings are now sitting in second spot. They're 2 games behind the top of the table 36ers, who host the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix tomorrow. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
That hot weather's taken out electricity in a few spots, so blackouts with traffic lights on the blink at Marsden, Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace. Also got the lights on the blink at Glenside, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street. West Watermaid at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street, and getting busy South Road Mile End. Early morning camera, Port Road, Alberton. Kickstarter your 2026 fitness goals with 2 months free at Anytime Fitness when you join this January. Plus, get 24/7 access to over 600 clubs in Australia. Search Anytime Fitness. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 41 today, mostly sunny, but cooling down tomorrow to 32. Then Sunday, partly cloudy, 25, and Monday, 29. Right now, it's 27 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7:07. Good morning to you. If you're joining us for the very first time on this Friday, the 30th of January. I've just refreshed the outage map from SA Power Networks, hoping that maybe the number had gone down. Well, quite the opposite, as frankly is often the case when there's some outages. People wake up and people report more. Right now, it's up to 5,851 premises without power.
Ugly scenes in Unley Park as people are being woken up by their maids being told that the toaster's not working.
To be fair to the people of Unley Park, a good word actually. There's about 98 there. There's a big one that just come online around the airport, sort of the eastern side of the airport, Marsden, Netley, Richmond kind of area. That's affecting about 1,100 premises. That's the biggest individual one. But the issue that SA Power Networks are having, and we're going to chat with Cecilia Schultz in a moment, is that there are so many smaller faults on the line, which seems to be connected to the incredible winds we had yesterday, that there are lots of small individual issues that need to be fixed up. So they're already warning that power restoration is taking longer than normal. Let's bring Cecilia Schultz into this conversation from SA Power Networks now. Cecilia, good morning to you. Is that a fair?
Good morning.
Is that a fair assessment of where things are at?
It is a fair assessment. So we've had, it's been a big night. We've had a lot of wind gusts come through since about 4:30 yesterday. Normally you wouldn't see as much damage from that type of wind event. I mean, it wasn't a major wind event, but there's a lot of stressed trees from just extended heat. And so we've actually had since 7 o'clock last night, we've had all of these tree branches come down onto wires. We've had about over 50 wires down on the network, which does impact restoration time as well. And since 7 o'clock last night, you've actually had about 33,000 customers impacted in total. We're sitting under 6,000 at the moment, but there is a bit of damage and a lot of jobs to be attended to. So it is, unfortunately, probably going to take the course of the day to get customers back on.
Are there any areas that are most affected, Cecilia, or is it sort of patchy? Seems to be sort of like northeast. We've had a lot of calls. Inner south, we've had a lot of calls, but then outer south, like someone said they were trying to play golf yesterday afternoon at Flagstaff Hill and almost gave up. Like it sounds like it was pretty widespread.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, south of Unley or Edwardstown there really isn't anything. You've got a lot kind of in the line of just below the foothills area. There's not really anything out west coastally. So I mean, what that tells me is a lot of this wind event was really coming through the sort of the foothills area. There really isn't much coastal activity at the moment, but yes, a few out north as well. Thankfully, nothing much for the good people of the regions who have definitely had their fair dose over the last couple of weeks as well. So really, it's limited to the metropolitan area.
I appreciate you don't really want to play nearest to the pin when it comes to when the power is going to come back on in these places, but you mentioned it will take most of the day. But by that, is there any risk that some of these outages will drag into tomorrow before they're repaired?
So I guess I preface that by saying when I say it will probably take the best part of the day, I'm talking about to have all customers restored. So you're going to get people who come off throughout the course, like they might lose supply throughout the course of today as well. Of the sort of 6,000 customers we have off at the moment, I think about 500 of those have had supply, have had over 12 hours without supply. So, yeah, look, it really is hard to say. The crews are going to be doing everything that they can, but there is a chance that there could be a couple of jobs on parts where there are maybe single customers still impacted. But we'll be focusing on restoring the areas with the highest customer density and just kind of working down to a more isolated fault, hopefully only impacting a handful of customers.
Well, on behalf of everyone listening, Cecilia, Godspeed to your crews because it's going to be a seriously hot one today. So we love that power to get back on as soon as possible. Thanks for your time this morning.
Cecilia.
Thanks, guys.
Cecilia Schutz from SA Power Networks on those now nearly 6,000 premises without power this morning, where we're heading for a top, of course, today, 41 degrees. Yesterday, the wind was causing havoc not just with our power infrastructure, but with a plane that was trying to land at Adelaide Airport that ultimately diverted to the RAF Edinburgh base, where, as Mark Hoffmeyer, the pilot in our first hour, explained, you don't have as big an issue with crosswinds, much safer place to land. And pilots tend to take a zero-risk sort of approach to this kind of thing. Shane Middleton was on board the flight yesterday that was diverted and joins us now. Shane, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We're good, thank you, Shane. So you were coming back from Melbourne, coming over from Melbourne. What was it like being on board? Did you realise something was up straight away, obviously?
Well, I must admit, I would like to just say we took an earlier flight. A colleague and I were over for work for the last 3 days, and we decided to take an earlier flight back, which obviously turned out to be a lot later. But yeah, coming when we had to, put our seatbelts on to go, it was a little choppy, but nothing, nothing too unusual. But yeah, coming in, haven't been on a flight like that in a long time. It was swaying side to side, up and down, and as he's about to touch it, he just went up again.
How long was it like that for? Was it sort of like from when you started to get near the Adelaide Hills that it got really
probably
far?
more as we got lower down. It's it was still bumpy coming in, but just probably about 5-10 minutes before landing. Yeah, it was just it was quite the swaying was also different. Usually the turbulence can be a bit up and down, but the swaying from side to side was a bit interesting.
bit interesting.
How did you get off the plane, Shane, at Edinburgh? I imagine they didn't have, it's not like they've got the air bridge there.
No, so we couldn't get off at all. So we were
you had to
tarmac. Yeah, so they said no, they got to wait and refuel. Thought it would take about 20 minutes, but I think that went on for a couple of hours, I think. So it was getting quite hot in there. But everybody was very calm. My colleague was very nervous, I must admit. But I would have thought, though, they would have offered refreshments. I think that probably would have been a good idea.
I'll say.
Then you went on probably the shortest flight in commercial aviation history from Edinburgh to Adelaide. That's extraordinary.
It was funny because when it initially happened, and then they said they're going to Edinburgh, I thought, well, we're going. Made sure we need to turn around and try again. But yeah, as it turned out, it was the wind, and it must have been, well, it was, but Edinburgh was fine, so that was interesting. Quite a few cars were parking. Never seen a Qantas flight on the Edinburgh.
Yeah. So how late did you end up getting home in the end, Shane?
Oh, I think we landed about, I think it was like 8:30.
And what time were you meant to be back?
6.
Okay. Shane, thank you. We're glad it all worked out all right. Louise Bonnie was also on the flight. Louise, good morning to you. Were you calm the entire time, or did the heart rate go up?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
I said, did the heart rate go up at any point in the journey for you?
Yeah, it was just interesting, I think, coming into Adelaide, actually. Yeah, we were literally about to land, and then all of a sudden, the plane just started to take off again, and it was pretty bumpy, and 10 seconds after sort of trying to take off midair again, the plane, there was a bit of turbulence, and the plane, when you have those little drops occasionally, had a couple of those. But I was on the plane with a couple of friends, and we were trying to work out what was going on, and I thought it may have something to do with the air traffic control, but my friend was pretty sure it was to do with all the extreme weather and turbulence. And we were informed later, before we arrived in Edinburgh, that it was due to the wind change and so on.
So the pilot came on over the speaker before landing in Edinburgh and explained what was going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was also interesting because unfortunately a patient became unwell soon after arriving in Edinburgh. So the cabin crew asked if there are any trained medical professionals as well. And thankfully 3 lights went off pretty quickly, and so there was some great assistance.
Wow.
From what I could see. And I think everyone remained calm and, quiet and things. And, it was important that we all stayed in our seats and the alleyway was clear. That, I think that's also an important point, because we were told we could take off at any moment as well.
Well, quite a unique experience. Louise and Shane, thank you so much for taking us through it. Generally, you have to be piloting an FA-18 Hornet, I think, to land at the RAF Edinburgh base.
Yeah, that's right.
Good to get the opportunity to land there, I guess, as a client on board a Qantas 737. Let's talk about the heat and the weather, the wind, the power, and all these things that fall within the remit of the SES here in South Australia. Stephanie Zakashevsky joins us as the State Duty Officer. Stephanie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's start with the wind from yesterday. Presumably you guys got a stack of call-outs on this because it's caused havoc with the power infrastructure.
Yeah, we absolutely have. We have, since yesterday, received about 250 calls for assistance. 200 of those we received from 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So we really saw an uptick in community members requiring some assistance with the trees down since when we saw those gully winds push in yesterday afternoon.
It was blowing a gale at our place in Wayville, Stephanie. Lots of spots affected by it. Do you know, was there any serious damage done anywhere?
The majority of jobs that we've seen come through have been tree-related. We've had some properties that have experienced branches down on their roofs and things like that, and on their fences. A lot of trees down on roads. It's really been borne by those strong winds. And I guess, as you mentioned, it's been windy in a lot of places. We've really seen the bulk of those jobs come through along those foothills. So really from Aldinga all the way through to Kapunda and Gawler along the western slope of the ranges.
Yeah, no, a big clean-up ahead, and hopefully, have you got any sense as to whether we'll be getting winds later today, or will there be any related with the coolish change?
Yeah, Yeah, we'll be getting another briefing from the Bureau later today. They've been really excellent in providing us with good information. What we're seeing, obviously, is we're on day 6 now of this heat wave, which is really starting to not only impact on our trees and our infrastructure and things like that, but on people. Heat waves are one of those killers that you can't see, and they have really cumulative effects. And that's the same with our trees. And so when they start to see those strong gusts or the wind changes, we start to see the tree stresses come out and those branches drop. We are anticipating another hot day again today, so we ask everybody to make sure they're staying cool and safe. There will be a wind change come through as that trough comes through and we start to get the cooler weather, thank goodness. But obviously with that, we're unlikely to see such strong gully winds again, but we are likely to still see those changes come through with the winds come through on that change, and that will still continue to put stress on our trees.
All right, well, that's it could be another big day on the way. Stephanie, thank you for that. Stephanie Zarkoszewski from the SES on the wild wind yesterday and the really hot weather that we're expecting on the way today.
Can I just compliment you on your impeccable Polish pronunciation? Well, that was George Danikian-esque what you just did.
It was under a lot of pressure to get that one right.
You nailed it.
I don't know. Stephanie's not there, so we can't get a test. We can't get a sense of whether I was right or not.
Well, I'm not going to question your Polish linguistic skills, but they sounded bang on to me.
No, she's not there. Yeah, all right, we'll never know. We can all pretend it was spot on.
Sometimes it's best not to know.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it sounded very convincing.
We could pretend it's spot on. All right, we're going to take a break. Tim Juniver's coming up in just a moment. We'll cast our mind forward to the weekend and the sport that lays ahead. But first, let's check traffic.
That hot weather has taken out power in a few spots this morning, so I got lights on the blink at Marsden, Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace, also at Glenside, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street. Two-car smash getting sorted out at the moment at Fitzroy, Prospect Road near the school, and West Waterway at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Early morning camera, Port Road, Alberton. Audio is more powerful than you think. For advertising with the power to double your campaign effectiveness, start with commercial radio and audio where brands are heard. Visit cra.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings. Well, they're calling it Gymflation. The latest inflation figures are out. They're not pretty, up from 3.4 to 3.8%. While the rest of the developed world are on a downward trend, Australia is heading in the opposite direction, and that's not good news for those with a mortgage. Graham Goodings. Mortgage holders will be holding their breath until the RBA meets next Tuesday. Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Here's an important air conditioning tip from Morford Air. Never give your teenagers control over the aircon remote. Your energy bills could go through the roof. Instead, for summer, set it around 21 degrees. It's the most energy efficient temperature. And if you turn it on early, before the teens are out of bed, your system will have less work to do, keeping your home cool all day. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford. Summer's here. Time to get your new Walco pool blanket. Made from quality materials, a Walco pool blanket will keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings now. Visit walco.com.au.
Living on a big block in an older home that's seen better days, or maybe you just picked up a fixer-upper on a generous slice of land, Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom-designed builder, has a clever solution.
That's right. They knock down the old place and build 2 brand new homes on the block. You sell one, move where you want, and keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future, all in the one smart move.
And the best part, Metro takes care of the whole lot. Design, planning, council approvals, the works, and they make it easy because they've done it all before.
So if you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
5AA is celebrating what makes Adelaide truly special. Local businesses across our city, north, south, east and west.
Tasman Turley is with me, owner of Complete Comfort. We're hearing this is like the bedroom.
It is.
So you've got beds for everyone. Tell us what these do.
So electric adjusting beds obviously are for sleeping in, resting in, helping you get in and out of the bed, assisting people in their mobility, but also predominantly the comfort side of it. We all go to bed every single night we're at home, so we spend a long time in bed and we try and maximise our level of comfort, and for a lot of our customers it helps with that mobility issue. They look like a normal bed, they operate obviously like a lot of hospital beds, but we can fit them into their existing bedroom surrounding frames. We can make them look as though they weren't even there.
Do you deliver free?
We do. We deliver, install, we take away the old bed.
All right, so they're the Complete Comfort beds. Just to our left here, though, tell us about these chairs.
So we have chairs with that we custom make. People can choose the size, style, customisation of it. They can choose whatever fabric they like to fit in with their decor or to go to something a little bit different, something that's comfortable but also functional in helping people get in and out of the chair.
You're the best. What's over here to the left? What's all this?
We have our mobility equipment. We also stock a range of wheelchairs, mobility, walkers, the lightweight carbon fibre ones. We have electric scooters.
Complete Comfort, Forestville. You're so good they decided to put the showgrounds next to you just so that people know where to come.
That's right.
Great work. Thanks, Tasman.
Thank you.
5AA, supporting local, celebrating SA.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Geneva.
Tim Geneva on 5AA Breakfast.
The weekend is almost upon us, Timmy. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. Sleeping beautifully, I would imagine, across the state.
Not.
Oh, gee whiz. And we've got an old 1925 bungalow, but we extended years ago, and the beauty of that is that it's blue board at the back, so that cools down in a heartbeat, and the front has got double brick, and that's where we sleep, so not a good move.
Maybe you should swap sides, Tim.
Yeah, turn it upside down. Well, I had to last night, to tell you the truth. Oh. So, yes, good fun. Good fun. Hey, the AO tennis, well, my biggest concern, Rybakina Sabalenka will be a great final. I'm pretty well expecting the semis to go Alcaraz-Sinner. I'm just concerned that the gap and the small gap, that there's a couple of players at the top and then there's the rest. Now, in those, when Alcaraz plays Zverev, Zverev is number 3 in the world, but he can't beat those two. And I'm just concerned that tennis will sort of sit there through just waiting for that final to happen again. And that's probably my biggest concern for tennis, because we were talking with Mark Edmondson during the week. He's the last winner, Aussie winner of the Australian Open. And he was just saying about the top 10 in his days. Anybody could beat anybody. And you just didn't know who was going to, a number 7 could beat number 1. It was a really tight system back then. And we saw that for a long time until probably the big 4 took over for 20 years, and Federer, Nadal and Djokovic and Murray. But it just looks like it's a big gap now. So, yeah, a bit of a concern, I think, from a viewing point of view.
The interesting thing for mine is that it would seem to be the perfect ingredients for a Federer-Nadal-esque sort of rivalry, but it would seem that despite their extreme talents, neither of these blokes has really captured the public's attention. There's not too many Sinner or Alcaraz conversations you have with people when talking about sport. And I don't know if it's a personality thing. I'm not sure. Or maybe we just haven't had enough time with them, but just they don't seem to generate conversation.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think that also that the game itself, again, Mark Edmondson on Where Are They Now was actually talking about because I said the biggest changes you would have seen, because he played early 70s right up until, I think, late 80s, and he said the rackets. And he said, you can hit it as hard as, he said, it's got less chance of going out. Because of the way the strings are and the like. And he said, so there was a lot more guile, if you like, in the old days. And that's when you got people like McEnroe who had that beautiful touch of being able to just drop it over the net and the like. So, yeah, maybe it's that. But
bring back the wooden Dunlop rackets, Tim.
They were the days, my friend.
With the
and
catgut
volleys.
string. And the volleys,
classic stuff. Oh, dear. Hey, boys, before I know we're up against the news, but heat training, and I was asked during the week whether we trained in the heat and the like, because the Crows and Port, of course, experiencing these conditions at the moment. There is actual benefit in heat training. It actually increases the blood plasma and can lower your cardiovascular strain. So, and it heart rates can be around, be lowered because of it. Now, I was asked if we did heat training. Now, my first pre-season, I was 16 years of age, and we rocked up on a 40-degree day, and we used to train pre-season just on the back of Karen Rolton Oval, as it is now, in the Parklands. And the fitness coach said, right, guys, we had a plan where we were going to train for 2 hours and then we're going to do 10 400s. And we thought, oh, beauty, we're going to the beach or something. And he said, so I've spoken to the coach, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, this was in an era where if you had a drink during training, you were weak. So we did the 2 hours. We did the 10 400s. I had to lie down on a park bench for 45 minutes before I could get to the car because I was so dehydrated and exhausted. And the Wednesday night he comes up and says, right, boys, I found out that at Unley, Sturt decided that it was too hot. And they only did 4 400s and went home. And the irony of that story was Sturt played in the grand final, we finished 6th. But I tell you what it did, I've got a resting heart rate of 50.
Good on you, Timmy.
Hooroo.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Well, she leads the second most popular party in Australia. Pauline Hanson will join us on 5AA Breakfast on the other side of this break.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 41 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
It could take the best part of the day to restore power to all properties impacted by this morning's blackouts. Around 6,000 are currently offline. The outages are from Gawler South to Glenside to Brighton. Cecilia Schutz from SA Power Networks says they're trying to get everyone back as soon as possible.
But we'll be focusing on restoring the areas with the highest customer density and just kind of working down to a more isolated fault, so hopefully only impacting a handful of customers.
A last-minute change of destination for a Qantas flight coming into Adelaide late yesterday afternoon. Wind gusts over 70 k's an hour, prompting the first diversion of a commercial flight in recent memory to the Edinburgh RAF base. Shane was on board. He's told David and Will it was a bit hairy on the final approach into Adelaide.
I haven't been on a flight like that in a long time. It was swaying side to side, up and down, and as he's about to touch it, he just went up again.
The plane then headed to Edinburgh. It finally landed at the airport just after 8 p.m. Well, there's hope the states and territories will accept a hospital funding deal from the Commonwealth when National Cabinet meets today. The Albanese government is offering $23 billion over 5 years. Australasian College for Emergency Medicine's Dr Stephen Gourlay says the agreement must reduce pressure on EDs.
We're seeing high levels of demand. We're seeing every bed in the department taken up. We are seeing a lot of emergency patients that needed an inpatient bed but not able to access it.
Angus Taylor and Andrew Hastie have failed to reach an agreement on who should challenge Susan Lee for the Liberal leadership. There's been swirling speculation about Ms Lee's position since the Nationals split from the coalition. Hastie and Taylor met in Melbourne before the funeral of former Liberal MP Katie Allen. The first UK patients have received Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip as he expands the human trial across the globe. More from Mimi Becker.
Patients have described it as magical and medical experts say it's mind-blowing. 21 people across the world, including 7 in the UK, now fitted with billionaire Elon Musk's Neuralink device. The technology essentially allows a form of telepathy. People can control their laptop or phone using their mind as the chip translates signals into digital commands.
Now to Turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
With everything tennis, here's Tom Wren.
Yes, thank you, Mel. We'll start there. Arena Sabalenka will face Elena Rybakina in tomorrow for the women's singles final at the Australian Open. The world number one beating Elena Svitolina 6-2, 6-3, with the Ukraine not shaking hands with Sabalenka after the match. The 27-year-old, who's from Belarus, says she understands.
I'm not focusing on that, and they've been doing it for so long. The no handshake, it's their decision. I respect that.
Rybakina enjoyed a 6-3, 7-6 win against American Jessica Pegula in the other semi. Let's go to cricket, and Aussie Adam Zampa says there are plenty of positives to take out of their T20 match against Pakistan, despite losing by 22 runs in Lahore. With the World Cup beginning in just over a week's time, Zampa says playing matches is crucial.
Look back to our successful World Cups. Preparing for the one-day World Cup in India was a long lead-in, and all those games are important. You can't kind of come in without much game time and not a lot of time around together as a group, so it's nice to be prepping for that.
Zampa was impressive himself, taking 4 wickets. To football, Brisbane coach Chris Fagan says there hasn't been a ripple at the Lions since training resumed following Lachie Neale's public marriage breakdown. And it's been a rough return thus far for Brooks Koepka in his first PGA event since announcing he's returning full-time after leaving the LIV Tour. He's currently 1 over through 12 holes at a tournament in California, putting him 8 shots off the pace. Better news, though, for Aussie Jason Day, who's currently 4 under, putting him only 3 shots behind in a tie for 9th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
That hot weather has taken out electricity in quite a few spots overnight, so got lights on the blink in quite a few spots today, including Glenside, Green Hill Road near Cottingham Street, also Marsden, Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace, crash at Fitzroy to look out for, Prospect Road near the school, and a burst watermain at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Camera, Port Road, Alberton. Go, Harvey Norman, up to 60% off Australian-made Beauty Rest mattresses in their end-of-line stock clearance. Last chance, while stocks last, race into Harvey Norman today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 41 today, mostly sunny, partly cloudy tomorrow, back to 32. Sunday, partly cloudy, 25, 29 on Monday. Right now, it's 27 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Last chance. Up to 60% off Beauty Rest mattresses now at Harvey Norman. Last chance to buy an Australian-made Beauty Rest mattress at never-to-be-repeated prices. All stock must be sold. Do not miss out. Harvey Norman clearing Beauty Rest mattresses at up to 60% off. All stock must go. All Beauty Rest mattresses, all stores at never-to-be-repeated prices. Hurry, strictly limited time. Harvey Norman Beauty Rest end-of-line stock clearance, in-store only, while stocks last.
Go, Harvey, go!
I'll get it. Dave, let me guess. Your power's out and you'd like to charge your phones.
How did you know?
Just lucky, I guess. Oh, and half the street is here doing the same. Come in, mate.
Dave, you too.
With Solar Power Direct Home Battery Storage, life goes on, even when the power's out.
Now, who's up for a cuppa?
Yes, please.
solarpowerdirect.com.au.
A lot can change in 18 months. A newborn becomes a toddler. That DIY project you've been working on, well, it probably should be finished. And your favourite Netflix series could sadly come to an end. But with Sterling Homes' 18-month fixed price contract, one thing that won't change is the price.
That's right, so you can rest easy knowing when you're ready to build. The price is fixed for 18 months. With 0 surprises, apart from your free luxury upgrades.
$15,000 worth of luxury upgrades at no extra cost. Choose what matters to you. It could be reverse cycle air conditioning. You might want stone bench tops, maybe even solar panels and more. Plus, you get 2.7 metre high ceilings that are included.
Ask about Sterling Homes' 18-month fixed price contract. Some T's and C's apply. Visit their website, sterlinghomes.com.au, for display home locations across Adelaide.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Business too small to be noticed by those global car rental companies? Well, you can rely on Red Spot to look after you. We love renting to small businesses because we used to be one. We're the only Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Pick a poll, any poll, all of them tell the same story about voter intention in Australia federally at the moment. They show that the second biggest party in the country right now is led by our next guest, One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. Good morning to you and welcome to 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for joining us, Ms Hanson. As you'd be aware, the South Australian election is now less than 2 months away, March 21. We all go to the polls here in South Australia. Is it fair to say that this is One Nation's first big opportunity to show the rest of the nation whether it can convert the polls that Will just referred to into tangible voter support?
I think you're right in what you're saying, considering how the polls have been going up since the last federal election. But it is going to be a test case for One Nation by all means. And we're putting a suite of candidates across the whole state. We've got a great announcement coming next week. We're really focusing on that, on this election and what we want to do for the state.
Culturally and historically, there's a lot of differences between South Australia and Queensland. You know, you're from the state with the Bundy and the state of origin and the cane toads, and we've got all the wine and the arts festivals. Can you see One Nation actually getting a proper foothold here in a more sort of arty-farty place like South Australia?
I love the way you describe your state. You know, I've travelled around quite often over the years, for 30 years now, to Port Lincoln, where there's a lot of support down there. You've got the fisheries, the farming sector, the crop farming that you have, or lack of it. You've only got 4% of the states now under crop farming. You've got rural and regional areas, they're screaming out for services. You've got, and this is going back a few years ago, 18% of your children in the state, they were living in poverty. It's not good enough, and it shouldn't be happening. You've got ramping that's happening in your hospital system. You can't provide the hospital beds. You know, I don't know. This is only things that I've been told by the candidates, the people who are interested in the state over the years, of what's happening in the state. I think it's very important that we do get, you know, good representation. If you're going to get good government, you have to have a good opposition, and I don't think you've been getting that from the opposition in that state. I think they've been hopeless.
Mm. Well, they certainly had their problem. They've had 3 leaders in less than 4 years, so it's been a bit chaotic.
Yeah, look, it's there's a lot to do, not just South Australia, it's right across the whole country. And if you think you might have it bad down there, my God, I'm in Victoria at the moment. It is atrocious in this state. They really are a basket case. And, you know, people are screaming out for someone with clear common sense policies to make change and make a difference in the state. All they want is hope for the future generations. And it's not been given by the current governments. It's like, you know, these politicians are in there for their own jobs, security. They get their pay packet. I don't think many of them go out on a limb and will represent the constituents. They follow the party line. And if you look at it, most of these parties are run by the unions or big multinationals. So where's the representation for the people? And this is what they want. They want to be heard.
Has the polling numbers changed your thought process at all, Pauline Hanson? Have you contemplated anything like a switch to the lower house? I mean, if you want to be the Prime Minister of the country, you're going to have to switch chambers.
Look, it hasn't gone to my head, and a lot of people are calling for it by all means, and they even put it in our movie, and I didn't have any idea about it. But anyway, it's about a laugh, having a laugh. But the whole fact is, look, no, I'm going to just keep going the way that I'm going at the moment. I haven't got a spoiled head about it, thinking about Prime Minister of the country. All I want is to get the right people in to make a difference to people's lives out there and turn our country around to prosperity, give people a decent standard of living and way of life. That's what my aim is. It's not about Pauline Hanson. It's about the country and about the people.
Ms Hanson, I was there in Canberra in 1996 when you got voted in as the member for Oxley, and it's 100 years ago now. Well, it's 30 years ago now, but I don't know if you remember, but back with people like Michael Harvey at the Herald Sun, we used to see you a bit socially, and I remember interviewing you a few times. You're now, and that was in 1996, you know, when you did your maiden speech and when Howard was under pressure to attack you, and then the gun laws happened and you formed One Nation with David Oldfield, like really sort of very much in the early days. What do you think's made you survive in politics for so long?
Because I've been upfront and honest with the people instead of relying on the media who put their spin on it, and I still blame the media for the perception a lot of people have about me. So what I've done in that first year, I travelled the country. We didn't have the Facebook. We didn't have the social media. So it's a matter of that, and I didn't rely on a lot of the media at the time. And if you be honest with yourself, there was a lot of negativity. There was all the media that wanted to pull me down. Even Rupert Murdoch offered to pay a bonus to his staff if they got any dirt on me in the lead up to that 1998 election.
I got to say, I would never offer that. I must have missed that meeting.
They did. Yeah. So anyway, I then travelled the country about 9 months.
Can I just say, though, Ms. Hanson,
I held my meetings.
Can I? I'm not trying to be a company shill here, but I'm just going to step in and say what you said about Rupert Murdoch was not even remotely true just then.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I actually said it after the election. It was in the Townsville Bulletin, and my exact statement was "kill the cow." It was on the front page of the newspaper Townsville Bulletin, and if I had defamed him in any way, he would have taken me to court. So, this is what I was told at the time from a reliable source. I'm going back to 1998, before that election. I was a threat to the major political parties then. So I've stayed my course, true to myself, honest with the people, up front, and tell them the way it should be. Unless we make some tough decisions in this country, we're going to oblivion with the high debt that we have, 1.2 trillion, 50 billion a year in interest alone. We can't keep going the way they're going. We've become a welfare-dependent country. We're bringing mass migration into the country that we can't provide housing for our own people. The homeless is out of whack. The defence personnel, they're on our streets. We should be looking after these people. What about the aged pensioners? What about the mum and dad both have to go and work just to pay the bills, and yet your interest rates are going to go up again next month? People can't keep affording this. We're the highest tax country in the world. So we've got to pull our heads in.
I went and read through your policy platform on your website last night at Pauline Hanson, and a couple of things that as they pertain to South Australia I was intrigued to read about, including your advocacy for rebuilding a coal-fired power plant in Port Augusta. Would that be a state-owned power plant? Would that be a public-private partnership? How would that work?
No, I'd prefer the state to own it. I've always said that your essential services, your gas, your water, electricity and defence should be always in the hands of the government to run at a cost price plus a little bit for maintenance to maintain it. I'm sick of these corporates coming in and then getting control and jacking up the price, what we have seen happen. They're talking about coal-fired power stations now to deliver us that power. South Australia relies only on gas and wind. I should say wind and solar, which they have to then add gas because it doesn't provide the electricity that you need. You've got the highest electricity cost basically in the whole country, if not the world. And that's why you've got to have a diversity of power. And why South Australia is that from South Australia you can actually then sell it across to Victoria, because they're in dire straits because they won't explore their gas in the state.
So that would be a state-owned power plant. The other one, I wonder, you've got a policy that I bet's really popular in rural Queensland, but I suspect would be less so here in South Australia, and it pertains to the management of the Murray-Darling Basin. You would like to see significant changes to the Water Act and the Basin Plan, winding back water buybacks to 1,500 gigalitres a year from the 2,100 they're at the moment. How will that be good for South Australians that live on the Murray?
What I would like to do, and I've spoken to Barnaby about it just only a few weeks ago, I'd like to actually implement the Bradfield scheme, so divert the waters from North Queensland back inland, and you can look at the Clarence River as well from New South Wales, divert the waters back inland and to flow back through the centre and take it right down to through the Channel Country into New South Wales and flow it through. The water is a lot of these states like New South Wales, and you get into Victoria down there. And I've done the trip right down to the Murray. I've been to the mouth of the Murray, so you've got dredging that's going on there all the time. I don't believe there's been enough consultation. People are paranoid. Even the irrigators in South Australia, they're wanting their water as well. You can't just put aside. The federal government owns 80% of the water. And what they've done is they've paid $13 billion up to $15 billion to buy these buybacks. The environmental issues, there's a lot of environmental parks of water there, but we've got to ensure that these communities have good water supply, and the farmers don't have enough water and they're paying through the nose for it. They should never have Howard separated water from land in 2004, and he should never have done that. Water should belong to the land, not foreign interests that have bought 20% and ownership. Of course, we can't get it spot on. Foreign interests own 20% of our water trading in Australia, and it's wrong. Shouldn't happen that way.
You talked about immigration and the strain that's putting on the economy at the moment, infrastructure, housing and so forth. You're not eliminating immigration. You're capping visas at 130,000 a year. How did you pick that number?
Well, I've been saying that all the time. We need to, at the moment, under the Morrison government, we're bringing about 260,000, and then they realised it was too much. Then he said, we'll pull it back to 190,000. Even Tony Abbott said around about 100,000 a year. Because we've had a high intake in 1 year between 22 and 23, we brought in 740,000 migrants in the country at the moment. Is about 1,560 a day that they're bringing in. We've got, even before the mass migration, first year we've had 650,000 houses short in Australia. If you pull it back in to a reasonable number at the moment, you've got about 200,000 that leave the country. You're basically replacing those without, and then slowly we cut back on the numbers. So, and then you look at it again a few years' time. This is not permanent. This is just to do it in a managed way, and then you look at how we increase or maybe decrease more. But I want to get people into housing. I want to get people off the streets. I want people to own their own houses. So that's what we've got to look at. And, you know, they said they're bringing people in for skills. I'll tell people this. Of that 740,000, only 51,605 were skilled migrants. A lot of these are dog washers and, you know, menial jobs getting the country. And of that, only 1,800 were in the construction industry. But you're being hoodwinked out there and thinking that we brought in all these skilled migrants in the country, and we haven't.
Pauline Hanson, One Nation leader, speaking to us less than 2 months from the South Australian election and confirming that they're going to be running candidates in every seat here in South Australia. Thanks for joining us, Ms Hanson, and we'll probably talk again soon.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
All right, 9 minutes to 8. Lots of feedback coming through on the text line. We'll get to some of that in just a moment.
That hot weather has taken out electricity in quite a few spots today, and with that, lights in many areas, including Marsden, Richmond Road near Brooker Terrace, also at Glenside, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street. Crash at Fitzroy to look out for, Prospect Road near the school, Adabus Watermain at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Canberra this morning, Exeter Terrace, Dudley Park. Everyone finally wrangled into the car. Victory! Tension headache from the chaos. That's one for Panadol Rapid. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Incorrect use could be harmful. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
No more. Ugh. No more. Ah. Try Arbor Vitae Joint Health for the relief of pain and other symptoms associated with mild arthritis and inflammation. Arbor Vitae is wellness backed by science. A clinical study on Arbor Vitae Joint Health can be viewed at arborvitae.com.au. That's ARBORVITAE.com.au. Now on sale at all Chemist Warehouse stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. A new year brings new beginnings, and Adelaide's property market is already alive with opportunity. Dream homes are being listed, offers are being made, and those ready to act are already a step ahead. At Toop and Toop, we don't just open doors, we help you move towards what's next. So if 2026 is your year for change, we're here to help you take the next step with confidence. We've proudly been South Australia's trusted advisors in real estate since 1985. Visit toop.com.au today.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now, with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job. CompleteWindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala.
South Australia's future workforce is on show at the World Skills Australia Regional Competitions Open House at Pier, hosted by Hazy. Watch apprentices compete in live timed skills challenges, explore industry suppliers, and meet trainers, employers, and industry representatives. Plus, attend the medal presentations recognising regional trade excellence and tour Pier's training facilities to learn about real vocational career pathways. It's a free event, Friday, February 6 from 12 at Pier Albert Park. Register at eventbrite.com.au.
I choose to get my exercise in with a side of sunrise.
I choose Keaton for a home that really feels like one.
We choose to start the weekend early.
On Thursdays.
Sometimes Wednesdays.
I choose to step up, not slow down.
I choose what's going to work best for me.
I choose my place. I choose confidence. I choose Keaton. Ready to explore what's possible? Visit keaton.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip, even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 8, text line's going bananas, David.
Yes, a lot of feedback about our interview with Pauline Hanson, and I think that in light of the discussion we had before the interview, Will, where you did that handy précis of what all the polls are showing, the text line is showing similar sentiments of people who are saying that they're fed up with the Libs or that they're annoyed with Labor and its left-wing policies on things like The Voice and also the unfettered increase in immigration. There's a few having a real crack at her, saying that she's still peddling the same old nonsense and that she's got no actual policies. Others said that they thought she presented better than they expected. One here, I love this woman. For 30 years, she stayed true to her word, even when it's been unpopular. She's the only really honest person in Parliament. We've never needed her more than now. Another one here, though, saying, can this woman string a proper sentence together? The most inarticulate person in politics. On top of that, she's got no substance. She won't get my vote. One Trump in the world is bad enough. We don't need another replica. Conversely, Yuri, honesty's rare in politics. Well said, Pauline. Jay, hard to fault anything Pauline said. Well done, girl. Jono, one nation and one flag. We are all Australian. Rosemary says, looks like Pauline's been doing her homework. I was quite impressed. And Steph says, boys, immigration used to be around 100,000 under the Good Hawke government, not the 500,000 we have now.
It's not 500,000 now. It peaked. This is
COVID it was. Post-COVID.
Post-COVID it was. So it peaked at 538,000 in the 2022-23 financial year. The last financial year, so ending June last year, was a net gain of 306,000. So Pauline did the thing where she divides 528,000 by 365 and says 1,500 a day, and that's out of date, that figure.
I just want to know where was the cash bonus I missed out on for writing negative articles about her. I was in all those meetings at the 1998 election. Hand on heart, none of that ever happened. And if it did, they didn't tell me about it.
You missed out, mate.
I know. Terry thinks it's plausible.
I bet he does. I tell you what's going to happen, though. Either Pauline Hanson at the next federal election is going to wield a significant amount of power in the federal parliament, or she's going to drag both parties to having a far more conservative position on things like immigration, because I think that's the biggest driver now. Immigration and housing.
Yep.
Her housing policy, for what it's worth, involves no one pays GST on new builds. I started doing a little counting. A lot of these policies sound pretty expensive. No GST on building houses. The Bradfield scheme, which in Queensland never got off the ground because people thought it's a ludicrous amount of money. State-owned power plants being built around the country. There's a lot of expenditure going on. But I think on the big ticket items, immigration and housing, which seem to be the biggest drivers, I think, of the One Nation support at the moment, she's either going to control enough power in the federal government that these things are going to shift, or the parties are going to wise up to what public sentiment is and they'll shift their positions ahead of the next election.
Easily, though, the biggest downside from the One Nation surge is for the Liberals. You could see a scenario whereby, say in northern suburb seats, well, within the federal seat of Spence, which the Elizabeth-based, Salisbury-based seat, which returned the highest no vote in Australia at the referendum on the voice to Parliament, you could see big Labor margins becoming smaller Labor margins, with people going, no, I'm sick of political correctness. sick of immigration, worried that my kids can't get a house. So you could see traditional Labor voters going across. But easily the biggest threat, and there's a text here, and it's from Steve. This is the text that tells the macro story. Pauline Hanson, I voted Liberal all my life. I'll be voting for One Nation next federal election. Liberals have lost their principles. They're distracted by who's going to lead the party instead of focusing on what's best for the country. And to Steve's point, what was the headline out of Canberra yesterday for the Liberal Party? That Andrew Hastie and Angus Taylor had a so-called power breakfast to work out what the future leadership of the party was going to look like, and they couldn't agree.
Well, I keep thinking back to an interview we had with Susan Lee earlier this either year or late last year. No, it was early this year, in the last week or so, where we asked her about immigration, and she said, "Oh, we'll have something coming up about that soon." Oh, isn't this is the problem?
Soon.
You can go to the One Nation website and see their numbers 130,000. You can go to the ABS and see the federal government's numbers over 300. You're not giving anyone a choice because you can't agree on anything.
Jeff, did you see Rats in the Ranks, that great documentary that came out about 30 years ago about Leichhardt Council in Sydney's inner west? That's what they look like.
Yeah.
That breakfast yesterday was Rats in the Ranks stuff. It was pathetic.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 41 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
Just under 6,000 customers are currently without power across Adelaide. Cecilia Schutz from SA Power Networks says the wild weather is behind the outages.
Normally you wouldn't see as much damage from that type of wind event. I mean, it wasn't a major wind event, but there's a lot of stressed trees from just extended heat. We've had all of these tree branches come down onto wires. We've had about over 50 wires down on the network.
The blackouts are north in Craigmore and Gawler south, at Brighton along the coast, centred around Marsden in the west and impacting Burnside and Erindale in the east. It could take the best part of the day to fully restore power. Something you don't see every day, a commercial flight landing at Edinburgh. That's what happened late yesterday. Strong crosswinds at Adelaide Airport resulted in the diversion of a Qantas flight from Melbourne. It eventually flew on to Adelaide, landing just after 8 last night. The windy conditions also delayed several other flights and one cancellation. The Premier has thanked Andrea Michaels for 7 years of service as she prepares to leave North Terrace. The Arts Minister will bow out at the March election. Sickness over the Christmas break prompting her to reevaluate her future. Ms Michaels is not the only one to call time on politics in recent months. She follows former Deputy Premier Susan Close and Treasurer Stephen Mulligan. National Australia Bank is planning to send its digital messaging service offshore. The lender is creating 110 messaging roles in its Indian office. Impacted Australian-based staff members will be offered roles in the bank's call centres. Well, the workplace watchdog has stepped in for Audi workers, given no end time on their rosters. More from Gabrielle Hodson.
The Workplace Tribunal has used new powers to rewrite employment conditions for Aldi supermarket workers. The Financial Review says it'll mean the end of a decade-long practice of not telling hundreds of part-time warehouse workers when their shift finishes. The Fair Work Commissioners approved its changes to Aldi's agreement for more than 1,200 part-timers at its New South Wales, Queensland and WA distribution centres to make sure they have rosters with actual finish times. It's the first time the Commission's used laws passed by the Albanese government in 2022, allowing it to change enterprise agreements without employers' consent to make sure workers aren't worse off than the award minimum.
US immigration officials are working on a plan to reduce the number of ICE agents in Minnesota. White House Border Czar Tom Homan says the plan is to facilitate a drawdown in federal immigration enforcement forces in the state, but the massive federal presence won't stop until violence decreases.
The reason for the massive deployment is because of the threats, because of the violence. Our officers need to be protected. If I'm on an operation arrest team, I'm going to a house, I got to be busy with that guy, the dangerous guy, and I can't keep looking over my shoulder at what's happening outside the house. So we brought extra resources in to provide that security.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Arina Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will contest the 2026 Australian Open final. Craig Gabriel reports.
Arina Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final of the Australian Open after both scored straight-set wins. And this final is a repeat matchup of the 2023 final at Rod Laver Arena when Sabalenka beat Rybakina. Sabalenka reached the final with a 6-2, 6-3 victory over Elena Svitolina, winning 6 of the last 7 games. Rybakina, meanwhile, claimed her 4th win from 7 meetings with Jessica Pegula, who had set points in the second. Rybakina closing the match 6-3, 7-6.
Let's go to cricket, and Travis Head was captain of a young Aussie side last night as they opted to play several youngsters against Pakistan in a T20 clash. They went down by 22 runs in Lahore, Adam Zampa taking 4 wickets while Cam Green top scored with 36. To soccer, it is game day for Adelaide United. Coach Anton Andrioli says he's wrestling whether to start Brodie Burkett. That's after his second-half hat-trick last weekend, or again bring him from the bench. That's for tonight's home clash against Macarthur FC. To football, and Port Adelaide's players are just about to hit the training track at Alberton. Meantime, Collingwood captain Darcy Moore is racing the clock to be fit for the start of the season. The defender's calf injury taking longer than expected to recover. The Sydney Kings are up to second on the NBL table following a 6th straight win, cruising to a 122 to 104 point win against the Illawarra Hawks. The Adelaide 36ers, meantime, can wrap up the minor premiership with a win against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix tomorrow night. Formula One pre-season testing is continuing in Spain. At McLaren, Oscar Piastri managed 48 laps before his day was ended by a fuel system problem. And Jason Day is the best of the Aussies midway through his opening round of a PGA event in California. He's currently 4 under, putting him 5 shots behind American leader Max Grayson, who's on fire. He's currently 9 under with 1 hole to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Crayfus West. A breakdown on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Got lights on the blink in a few spots due to the power being out due to that weather overnight, including Glenside. That's on Green Hill Road near Conningham Streets. And a smash at Fitzroy to look out for. Prospect Road near the school. Camera this morning, Spains Road, Salisbury Downs. Go, Harvey Norman, up to 60% off Australian-made Beauty Rest mattresses in their end-of-line stock clearance. Last chance while stocks last. Race into Harvey Norman today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, another hot one today, 41, partly cloudy tomorrow, 32, Sunday partly cloudy, 25, and Monday, 29. Right now, it's 27 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, Brett Ebert here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. And your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie, family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
Now, this was one of my great discoveries of 2025, and it's well and truly kicking into 2026. There's nothing like finding a hidden gem, especially when it leads to your new favourite bottle of wine. I think our next guest knows exactly where this winery is. Thornclark Wines, located in the Barossa Valley, is a family-owned boutique winery that combines tranquility with perfectly curated wines.
Yes, you'll be asking yourself, why haven't I been here before? As you take in the sprawling gardens and panoramic views, enjoy a wine tasting customised to you while enjoying a platter of local Barossa Valley produce.
Just outside of beautiful Angaston, you can end your day at the driving range overlooking the Eden Valley Vineyard. Kate and I went up with the kids. They had a great time having a whack. Take home a few bottles from their Sandpiper and Shotfire ranges and continue the Thornclark experience at home. Or check out the range on the Thornclark Wines website.
Next time you head to the Barossa Valley, make Thornclark Wines your first stop. Cellar door opens at 10 a.m, runs through till 5 p.m, Friday to Sunday.
Did you know that 1 in 3 Australians live with metabolic syndrome? A series of conditions affecting metabolic health. That's why CMAX is conducting a clinical trial for a potential new treatment and is seeking healthy volunteers aged 18 to 65. Participants will spend 8 nights at CMAX in Adelaide CBD, attend 1 follow-up visit and get paid for their time. Your involvement could make a difference to the lives of thousands. Interested? Apply at cmax.com.au.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 8. Morning's flying through. We've got Feedback Friday coming up in about 30 minutes' time. If you'd like to participate, everybody wins a prize. 8223 0000 is the number. Paddy and Em ready and waiting to take your call. We'll count down the top 5 moments of the week as well before 9 o'clock. But first, it's time for Breaking Day.
Well, amid all the hue and cry and the distractions of Pauline Hanson on the march, we just had her on the program, the federal leader of the One Nation Party, promising to have a red-hot go here in South Australia at the election. There was one policy announcement that I thought deserved more significant attention, particularly in a week when we're battling through 40-plus degree heat, and it was made by the Liberal leader, Ashton Hearn. Yesterday, you'll recall, we had a lengthy chat in this very same spot with the Premier, Peter Malinauskas, and we're trying to run a fair and balanced program here, which becomes even more acutely important on the cusp of an election. So we're joined now in the studio by the Leader of the Opposition, Ashton Hearn. Ms Hearn, good morning and thanks so much for coming in.
Good morning, a pleasure to be with you as always.
So, renewables. The state government is obviously cock-a-hoop about the fact that we've got the highest penetration in Australia of wind and solar, which when the conditions are right is great, less so when the conditions aren't right. But walk us through your announcement about getting rid of the 100% target. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, you're right in terms of having the highest percentage of renewables, Pembo, and we also have the highest energy prices of any capital city in the nation. So from our perspective, we're just focused on affordability. We're not going to be a government that's driven by ideology. And, you know, you speak to anyone up any main street, door knocking, speaking with businesses, their number one concern is how they're going to pay their power bill. And we have seen a rise in that over the course of this government. Prices have been up 43%. And so for us, we're driven by affordability, not ideology. We don't think that the renewable target from next year is even achievable. So we're going to scrap it.
We've seen the Libs get themselves tied in knots over the last 12 months about things like net zero. I must admit, I've lost track exactly of where the state party landed on that. How does this sit with whatever your position is on net zero?
Well, obviously the state council have a position, and that is that they're not supporting net zero by 2050. And I think what you're seeing in our position and our approach to energy more broadly is a sense of pragmatism too. You know, in the Parliament, I think it was last year, the current Labor government put forward their target of hitting renewables by 2027. We tried to put forward some practical amendments to also link affordability to that, which Labor voted down. And we just want to be practical. Power bills are going through the roof, and a central pillar of our election campaign is about making our state more affordable, and energy bills are a big component. And the way as well that you put the handbrake on power bills is by making sure that you've got a stable grid. And so that's why we've also not only about changing the 100% renewable target, but we also have policy in place to keep Torrens Island open until we can find an alternative.
Pauline Hanson just told us she'd pay for a new coal-fired power station at Port Augusta. Would you be receptive to that if affordability is the driving principle?
No, that's not something that's on the cards at the moment. We've got some other practical things that we'll be announcing between now and the election. But look, I think we're broadly agnostic to the type of power, but you know, I'm also mindful that people do, you know, the climate is changing. There is concern about what the future looks like. But what I'm saying really clearly is that we will put affordability over ideology. And we've seen that obviously with the announcement that we've made about getting rid of the target. Targets are fine, and this is not about being against renewables. It's just about saying not at the expense of South Australian power bills.
To that end, then, if affordability is the North Star on the compass, so to speak, what's your position on gas exploration in the southeast? Something the Liberal Party has previously said no to. Obviously, inserting gas into the grid, mining it here, would have put downward pressure on prices.
Yeah, well, I think gas is a critical part of the mix. I think Tom Koutsantonis has been a little bit tricky with the language that he's been using, because exploration is not banned in the southeast. There's a moratorium on fracking. It can still be explored to find an actual source.
Exploration's not driving down prices, is it?
But you can find a source. So any company can do the exploration, and if there's a source there. But the reality is that we think that Torrens Island is the key to providing that stability in the grid. We know that it's a source that exists and it's scheduled to turn off at 2028. We're saying that we would continue to keep that on until a new and fit-for-purpose station becomes available.
Ashton Hearn, Will made a really good point, I thought, last week, which is both flattering and depressing for you.
Can't wait to hear it.
So here it comes.
Alrighty.
He was saying that after the dramas that David Spears had, and then the problems that Vincent Tarzia had in his 11th hour decision to walk away from the leadership, you came on the very first interview you did with us. The text line was going rolling through, people going, this woman's a breath of fresh air. She's making good points. I'm a long-standing Liberal voter. I feel like I can proudly say I want to vote Liberal again now that Ashton is leading the party. What's been happening federally, though, in the last couple of weeks, do you worry that your federal colleagues, with their interminable inward focus and brawling and all of the white-handing of Susan Lee, risk damaging the brand in its totality and being a drag on your vote?
There's a lot of risks in politics, I suppose, and you can be distracted by an awful lot. And for me, I know it sounds a bit peculiar, but I'm just trying not to get too caught up in that. There's a lot of commentary around what's happening in the federal scene, and clearly it's not helpful. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's helpful, but I just think that South Australians don't want their politicians and someone who's, putting themselves forward to be the first female premier of the state. People don't want to see me distracted, and frankly, I'm not distracted. I'm really clear that we've got a very short runway between now and the next election. It's I think it's less than 50 days away now, so time is closing in. And so I'm just honestly focused on releasing proactive policies and speaking to as many people as I can. But there's no denying that what we've seen going on in Canberra has been nothing short of shambolic. But I think that's true of what's been going on with Anthony Albanese as well. I mean, what Albo's been doing in Canberra, I think, just further shows how out of touch he is and how out of touch federal Labor are with the issues that Australia is facing right now.
This time 4 years ago, there were posters up everywhere, Labor will fix the ramping crisis. That issue was the one thing that really shot you to prominence as the Shadow Health Minister, with the very strong job you did prosecuting the case about Labor's failure to honour that promise. From a tactical sense, are the Liberals going to try to make a bigger thing of that over the coming 8 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's an integrity issue for the Premier, because he went to the election all guns blazing, talking not only about his promise to fix ramping, and also let's remember, it wasn't just a promise to fix ramping, it was a vote Labor like your life depends on it, was plastered everywhere, and that in itself demands and depicts a sense of urgency to fix a problem that has completely evaporated since Peter Malinauskas was elected, because he's focused on other things, and that's fine. I mean, he's able to put certain things in his order of priority, but we will start to up the ante on that, because I think it's still an issue that South Australians care about. But more than just talking about ramping, people want to see action in the health system. They want to see a better health system, and we've already announced some policies that will go some way to improving it, but we've got some more to come as well.
Liberal leader Ashton Hearn, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll chat again soon.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
18 minutes after 8. We'll have a quick look at the traffic and come back with more in just a moment.
Crayford's West to breakdown to look out for the freeway uptrack near the tunnels. Marsden, traffic lights out. Richmond Road to Brooker Terrace and nearby West Richmond on Marion Road near Richmond Road. And West Waterman at St Peters to look out for. Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Busy South Road, Edwardstown by the Camera Days Road, Croydon Park. Shop Healthy Care's new L-theanine range to support stress and relaxation from 1619 at Chemist Warehouse. Find more healthy care products at Chemist Warehouse. Sale ends February 11. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
I know Elton John said Saturday night's all right for fighting, but Wednesday night says fight night. Bang, bang, bang. Off they went crazy. 36ers versus Bullets, choker holds and everything.
Adelaide's only local sports show.
I like a good get it on, get your dogs out.
We don't see it very often.
No, you don't, because it's so sanitised sport nowadays.
The 5AA Sports Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
From Cairns to Canberra, Perth to Port Macquarie, you can rely on Red Spot to provide the perfect ride for your next holiday. We're the only Aussie family-owned and operated car rental company in airport terminals and cities all over Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
I'm high!
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home. And for seniors, it's always been great value with 20% discount on selected bistro meals. Yep, 20% off. Feeding the whole family? Bring them all Saturday or Sunday for live acoustic music from 5 p.m. And kids eat free. Some conditions apply. The Excelsior Hotel feels like home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Hi, Brady Bit here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. Everyone here is back on deck and ready to do deals on a huge range of 2025 plate Mazdas. Stop dreaming and kick off the year in a shiny new Mazda. All models and colours are available and they're ready to roll with immediate delivery. No gimmicks, only the best customer support for you and your shiny new Mazda. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Shane from Drummond Golf, you've taught us blokes a thing or two about the game. It's been a pleasure to help you, Rowie. And I'm your favourite student. Hey, oi. Surely I'm better than Timmy and Rennie. Hey. I don't want to get into details.
Come on, it's me, isn't it?
It's me, isn't it?
Hey, mate, I'm right here in the room. And I'm right behind you. Come on, easy.
Oh, you're a good one, aren't you? Come on, boys. Let's just settle down. I've seen you all swing. But, fellas, in all seriousness, it's not who's the best. It's about the love of the game.
Drummond Golf. For the love of golf.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 8, we're going to meet tray that we're giving away in about 40 minutes' time, thanks to the great people at Chanella's.
Love Chanella's.
Don't we love Chanella's? Liam Drenner and the team, my local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. We're putting together our own Renegade 5AA Writers Week involving the greatest authors living or dead. We had some terrific suggestions through a little bit earlier on the program. I've got a list actually here. Where do we have it?
I've got a list and it's buried in my pile.
No, being censored by slow internet. In any case, Enid Blyton was on the list. Agatha Christie's on the list. We've had
George Orwell,
Roald Dahl,
Anthony Bourdain.
So lots of terrific suggestions. So keep them coming in. You could win yourself a meat tray. Lots of texts post Ashton too. Following that breaking at 8.
And similarly positive too, Will, to the point you made after the first interview she did with us. Mark says, how well does Ashton speak? She's easy to listen to and understand. It makes a change. Ashton has my vote, says Joe in Hyde Park, but the Libs need to keep the flow of infrastructure and activity moving in SA. Then, conversely, bad news for people for people of the Liberal persuasion, because there's quite a few messages from people like John in Glenelg. He says, as one of those poor lifelong Liberal supporters after the back-to-back interviews with Ashton Hernan and Pauline Hanson, I actually look forward to another term of Peter Malinauskas, who I think is doing a great job with One Nation as the main opposition, and the Liberals struggling to hold a seat here in SA.
Do you reckon Peter Malinauskas one day imagined a scenario where voters would say, I love Peter Malinauskas and One Nation? At any point during his political career, he thought, that's the scenario I'm going to create.
I think you'll be hoping that no members of the left faction are listening into that analysis, Will.
Let's take some calls on the meat tray, shall we? Peter in Meadows is on the line. Peter, who would be your dream guest at our very own Writers' Week?
Morning, boys. Great show.
Thanks, mate.
I'd like to be a bit greedy and say I'd go to a morning session to see Charles Dickens and an afternoon session to see Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be
That's a reasonable day.
Now, Peter, excuse my ignorance, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, what did he write?
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite
I reckon you'd sell some tickets to that.
I think if you get a double header like that, you'd be standing room only.
I would have thought, Peter. That's excellent. Thank you. You're in the running to win the meat tray. Thanks to Chanella's by 9 o'clock this morning.
I think our next guest would get along to hear Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's time to flashback with Michael Smith.
We obviously might need his flashback time machine to put this festival together, but I think that can be arranged. Michael Smith, the master of the Sunday night 7 News flashback segment. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and David. We're hitting the road for flashback this week to remember a car that was designed and built at Tonsley Park, but really took on the world. A car that was ultimately very successful, if occasionally maligned at times, the Mitsubishi Magna. Chrysler had taken over Mitsubishi in 1980 and was making Sigmas and Colts at Tonsley Park when they really wanted to redefine the mid-size family car. The Magna was based on the Japanese-designed Galant, but substantially altered and modified for Australian conditions. And arguably, it was an even more South Australian car than the Commodore. The Commodore, of course, assembled at Elizabeth, but the engines came from Victoria. The engines for the Magna made at Lonsdale. And one of the really quirky South Australian design features that people might remember were the cup holders on the Magna, not only designed to hold cups and cans, but to accommodate a Farmers Union iced coffee carton. How South Australian can you get? The first Magna was released in 1985, and it really blew away the competition. In fact, it won the Wheels Car of the Year in the first year of its release. Have a listen to this report on the launch of the Magna from Tony Hull.
The car got a champagne introduction to more than 600 Australian dealers on the Festival Centre Plaza today. Mitsubishi has invested $85 million in the new Magna, creating an extra 450 jobs in its 2 production plants. The company claims the car has the performance and space of a 6-cylinder car with the economy of a 4.
A totally new class of car with more space than many 6s, more shoulder room, leg room, headroom.
The company expects to sell more than 22,000 vehicles by the end of the year. The Magna starts at a base $11,400 up to $16,000 for the Elite.
And in fact, they ended up making about 650,000 of them over 20 years. Not only very successful domestically, but they were exported to places like New Zealand, the Middle East, the UK, and even into the US, where they were sold as the upmarket Diamante. Guys, it's one of those cars that if you didn't have one, chances are you knew someone who did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, they were huge. And they were good cars. They weren't boaty. They were easy to drive. I had a Magna as my company car when I was in Canberra. It was great fun. I used to drive down the south coast in New South Wales. But yeah, they sort of almost forgotten now, though, Mike.
There's a great part of the story where a whole lot of motoring journos were given to Magnas to thrash as hard as they could on really bad roads in far north Queensland. They cover about 300 Ks in a couple of days, and the journo at the end says the only thing that came off was one hubcap, so they were known as being pretty reliable. And we meet a guy on Sunday night who's so passionate about Magnas. He hasn't had one or two or three, but he's got 15 of them. And he shows them off. They're all in incredible condition through the 3 generations of Magnas. Very proud of his Mitsubishi fleet. So you'll see that on Sunday night in 7 News Flashback.
Looking forward to it. Good on you, Michael. Michael Smith from 7 News. You can catch the segment from 6 o'clock on Sunday night. I'm just thinking, the prices didn't sound that extraordinary, did they?
No.
So if you hear often 40 years old prices of anything, you go, oh, you get all sort of, wow, you could buy that for a loose change. But yes, it was a little bit $16,990 and so forth, a little bit cheaper, but it wasn't. Cars of sort of probably purchasing power parity wise are probably cheaper.
Well, the big change since then too is tariffs.
Yes,
like because when the tariff wars came down, the prices came down, and the availability of all the new Korean cars. Now we're seeing all the Chinese cars. Like the market has transformed completely in 3 decades.
29 minutes after 8, 5AA News is coming up. Feedback Friday in just a moment. If you'd like to play, get calling right now. We've got a Smeg appliance to give away and Wallace passes. Everyone wins a prize. We've got 4 easy questions, no wrong answers. We're always a bit of fun with Feedback Friday. We'd love you to be part of it, but if you want to, get calling right now. 8223 is the number.
This guy on the text line should enter because he clearly knows everything. He wrote, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, what did he write? Oh, ha, ha. What about that? Imagine that. Someone who knows everything.
Well, there you go. You don't have to know anything to be part of Feedback Friday,
and also
conversely.
Isn't prepared to ever admit that they don't know something. How about that?
Planning your next holiday? The local travel experts at Spark Travel are just a phone call away. Reach out today for a chat and let's start planning your holiday together. Spark Travel, where the journey begins with a conversation. sparktravel.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 41 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
It could take the best part of the day to restore power to all properties impacted by this morning's blackouts. Around 5,000 are currently offline. The wind last night bringing down trees and damaging infrastructure. One of the biggest outages is east of the city, impacting Dulwich, Glenside and Toorak Gardens. And a blackout has been linked to a crash at Kensington Park around 11:30 last night. 2 cars came together at the intersection of Kensington and Glenburn Roads. Both drivers, a 33-year-old Ross Trevor woman and an 18-year-old McGill woman, were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says it was extremely dark when the vehicles made contact.
Investigations into the crash are ongoing, but it appears that with all the strong winds and power lines down last night and traffic lights were out and both cars have proceeded into the intersection at the same time. So we really just want to remind people to approach intersections with caution when lights are out. It does happen in times of strong winds and during heat waves as well.
A commercial flight landed at Edinburgh late yesterday. Strong crosswinds at Adelaide Airport resulted in the diversion of a Qantas flight from Melbourne. Shane was on board. She's told David and Will they touched down at the RAF base.
We couldn't get off at all. They said, no, they've got to wait and refuel. Thought it would take about 20 minutes, but I think that went on for a couple of hours, I think. And it was getting quite hot in there, but everybody was very calm.
The plane arrived at Adelaide Airport just after 8 last night. Another Labor minister has quit. Andrea Michaels will leave at the March state election. The Premier has thanked the minister for her service. She'll return to the legal profession after 7 years in politics. Troy Selwood has donated his brain to concussion research. More from Eddie Summerfield.
The former Lion suffered a series of head knocks during his 75-game career. It's now been revealed Troy Selwood made the decision to donate his brain to concussion research 4 years before his death. Troy battled a string of concussions during his AFL career, including an infamous car crash clash with Tiger Alex Rance. The Herald Sun reporting it's the first known case where an ex-footballer has made the direction in their will to donate their brain to CTE research.
The first images of the actors playing the Fab Four for a new series of Beatles movies has been released. Paul, John, George and Ringo will each be the subject of their own film. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get to Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes for the Outlander ES. Drive away from just $39,990.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The women's finalists for the Australian Open are set after Arina Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina both recorded straight sets wins last night. They'll both be in action tomorrow night for that final. Meantime, Jason Kubler and Mark Polmans have advanced to the men's doubles final at the Oz Open. The duo only gained entry via a wild card. Kubler says they've clicked as a combination.
This is the first time we've played together, which is crazy to think about. You know, we're gelling so well together.
Going beautifully. Adelaide 36's import John Jenkins is hopeful the team will only get better as the playoffs get closer. Jenkins has only just joined the roster and was impressive with 19 points against the Brisbane Bullets on Wednesday night. He's told Rowie and Timmy G he can see confidence in the camp is high.
Obviously, me coming in last week or a week and a half ago is, you know, shaking up some things and just trying to get our chemistry together, getting to know each other more on and off the court. I think hopefully, you know, as the season goes on and we get to the playoffs, we'll play our best basketball at the right time.
Yeah, let's hope so. The Sixers will be in action tomorrow night against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Australia has gone down to Pakistan in a T20 warm-up clash ahead of the World Cup by 22 runs in Lahore overnight. And Aussie Carl Phillips is putting himself in early contention at a PGA event in California. He's currently 5 under, putting him just 4 shots off the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. That hot weather last night has taken over power in quite a few spots, which has affected traffic lights this morning. You'll find the lights out at Marsden, Richmond Road at Brooker Terrace, also at Glenside, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street, and a best Watermain at St Peters to keep in mind to Payneham Road near Winchester Street. Busy as per normal, Brighton Road, Glenelg East with a camera, Bridge Road, Salisbury East. Aborto has your lunch sorted with their $9.95 meal deals. Pulled chicken, loaded chips or quarter flame grilled chicken or a pulled chicken burger in a meal. Just $9.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA weather, 41 and mostly sunny for your Friday, but partly cloudy tomorrow down to 32, Sunday partly cloudy 25 and Monday 29. Right now it's 28 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Mark Boris is the mentor who keeps choosing stories over spreadsheets and keeps feeding those big ideas. So keep good company with the Mentor podcast.
Tony Hadley, former lead singer from one of the biggest bands of the 80s, Spandau Ballet, hits Adelaide this March. Alongside the fabulous TH Band, Tony performs all the Spandau Ballet hits you know and love, including True, Gold, Through the Barricades, plus solo material. Tony Hadley, March 18, AEC Theatre. Don't miss your chance to hear some of the biggest hits of the 80s. Final tickets at ticketek.com.au.
Hey, it's Lauren here from Adelaide. Wouldn't you love a reward just for shopping at your local Star Discount chemist? Become a Superstar Rewards member to earn points, receive birthday vouchers and more. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help? Earn and redeem points on eligible purchases. Visit website for full terms and conditions.
If you're thinking of building or renovating your kitchen now, you've got a lot of choices to make, but the first choice is easy. It's Smeg. We have an amazing Smeg showroom right here in Adelaide, Deputy Distributors in Dudley Park, and inside you'll find the full Smeg range on display.
What a range it is. Ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, fridges, wine cellars, kettles, you name it. Smeg seamlessly pairs powerful performance with architectural design. Now they do these great cooking demos too. I did one myself when I got a Smeg oven. It was great fun. Smeg, proudly made in Italy since 1948. Its colour design and tech is world famous. Smeg, it's technology with style. Visit the Smeg showroom today at Deputy Distributors, Harrison Road, Dudley Park.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
business too small to be noticed by those global car rental companies? Well, you can rely on Red Spot to look after you. We love renting to small businesses because we used to be one. We're the only Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
It's 11 o'clock, Saturday night. The power's out in your street, no lights, just quiet. Then you hear it. The dull thud of music coming from number 8. You draw closer, wondering, how? The door opens. You're invited in. With Solar Power Direct home battery storage, life goes on. Even when the power's out. solarpowerdirect.com.au.
Aussie kids are active kids, creative kids, sporty kids. Are you a Weet-Bix kid?
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
"22 minutes to 9, Feedback Friday coming up in a moment. We've got Alan and Raymond. We've got one spot available for Feedback Friday. A reminder, 4 easy questions, no wrong answers, some terrific prizes as well. We've got the Smeg appliance that someone will walk away with and the Wallace movie passes as well. So 8223 Paddy and Em ready and waiting to take your call. We won't take up much of your time. Feedback Friday is on the way in just a moment. You know, a couple of texts first.
More nominations for entrance participants at the new improved Adelaide Riders Week as curated by our listeners, Andrew in Dulwich. I'm with you, Andrew. I love this guy's writing. He says that he would like to see Brendan O'Neill at Riders Week. Beautiful writer and a great polemicist, takes no prisoners. Ian has a number of authors: C.S. Lewis, Mem Fox, Charles Dickens, Bryce Courtney, Tom Keneally. Thanks for that, Ian. And Steph says, hey guys, in the interest of balance, I'm really looking forward to that Nicki Minaj song.
Well,
keep listening, Steph. You might get a nice surprise.
I think I'm so intrigued by this. I couldn't name a Nicki Minaj song.
No, me neither. I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
Other than the clobber that she gets around, it doesn't leave much to the imagination.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ask, Steph, and the rest of the audience will be punished. Let's feedback.
Friday today.
For those who didn't hear it, we played the Springsteen song yesterday about Minneapolis, and it riled up our Trump-loving listeners. So in the interest of balance, to assuage their feelings, as requested by Steph, Nicki Minaj, who's the number one Trump-loving muso, has released a tune.
Yeah, I don't think we play music on the basis of people's political beliefs, do we? Because I'm terrified about where that's going to go.
All roads lead to politics in the minds of some.
It's just
I guess.
sad, isn't it? All right, let's talk Feedback Friday. Alan in Vale Park, good morning.
Good morning.
Alan, what's the longest you've ever been without power at your place?
Well, I've been very lucky. I've had power all night, sort of thing. So, no, I just mean I can't remember.
Okay, well, it's obviously not significant, which is good for you.
Can I ask, Alan, did you, back in the 60s and 70s, did you have a kerosene lamp at home for moments when the power did go out?
Probably did, yes.
We have one.
A candle or two.
Well, I'll tell you what,
A candle or two.
You're in a better position than 5,249 people with their homes this morning, Alan, who are currently without power, and the temperature's going to get up to 41 degrees. Have you been on the Glenelg tram yet since it was back running, Alan?
No, I have not.
You a tram guy?
Oh, yeah, I quite often catch the tram down there.
It's always a lovely journey, I think.
Yeah, quite pleasant.
All right.
Air-conditioned tram.
What's been your secret to keeping cool this past week?
Well, just the good old fans.
Nothing too vigorous.
Are you like a ceiling fan or little portable fans?
The ones that stand up on a stand.
Oh, yeah.
4 feet high.
They're good, actually. You can put those in a good position, and they're quite effective. Have you ever owned any gold, Alan?
Oh, a wedding ring. That's their limit.
You haven't got a gold brick hidden away somewhere worth $20,000?
No, I don't think so.
Gold price been jumping around the last 24 hours. Good on you, Alan. Thank you. Let's go to Salisbury. Raymond, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you both?
We're good, thanks, Raymond. Raymond, do you think there's any chance that the AFL will work in India?
Oh, perhaps, yeah. I can't see why not. They play cricket, don't they?
They do play cricket.
The new summer sport.
They also play kabaddi, which hasn't taken off here.
I wouldn't even know what that is.
Yeah, see, and they don't know what AFL is. Raymond, do you remember anything, Raymond, from your first day of school?
I do. I was very excited for my first day of school. I think my mum was a little bit upset. But yeah, no, I remember I was very excited. And that's about all I can remember from my first day of school, actually.
Which school was it, Raymond?
I remember being very excited. Sorry, what was that, Dave?
Which school was it, mate?
I went to Salisbury Park Primary School. Always been a Salisbury boy, David.
Yeah, right. Is it still there? Is it still there, the school?
It is, yeah. It's changed quite a bit from when I went there because one of my boys went to after-school care there. So I actually sort of had a bit of a look inside the school, and I was amazed at how much it had changed.
Yeah. It's remarkable. Did you celebrate Australia Day in any way, Raymond?
I did. I went fishing.
How'd you go?
Poorly. Well, look, it depends how you look upon these things, you know. Like, what do they say? A bad day's fishing's better than a good day at work.
Yeah,
so that's
correct.
my philosophy.
I like that.
So it was a win. Results-wise, it was poor, but it was still a win.
That should be a bumper sticker or a motto for life. That's good. Where do you normally do your shopping, Raymond? Is it Drake's, Foodland, Coles, Woolies, something else?
At the sports fishing scene.
Good answer. Thank you, Raymond. Let's go from Salisbury to Albert. And Dave, good morning.
Morning, chaps.
Good to chat with you, Dave. Any plans to head to Constellation, the new Writers' Festival?
Well, actually, no. I found out earlier this year that there is one, so perhaps next year I'll plan to go.
Yeah, there you go.
They might have that excellent author who wrote the Scotty Hodges book at it, Dave.
Oh, he's a bit of a plonker, that guy, to be honest.
Are you over summer yet? Ready for winter, or do you like the wild heat?
Oh, look, I do prefer summer, but even this morning it started to bite a little bit. So I'm not over it yet, but a little bit of a reprieve over the next week will be nice.
Do you reckon One Nation will beat the Libs at the March state election?
Oh, well, anyone could beat the Libs at the state election. I think, they probably will, actually. They're a bit of disarray there at Liberal HQ.
And just lastly, can you come up with, off the top of your head, a compelling reason why you should receive the Australian of the Year award?
No, not compelling. It'd be flippant at best.
We can think of a
few.
How
about services to talkback radio content?
Yes. Yep.
Services to talk about radio, yeah. I've got a couple of mates. One of them's actually away at the moment. He'd normally message me straight after this to tell me to keep quiet. But, perhaps in his absence, maybe I could get a vote or two.
So what about some sort of ambassadorial role, making Port supporters seem, nicer and more likeable?
That's probably the role for me, but not everyone would buy into it, I'm pretty sure.
Good on you, Dave.
Good on you, Dave. Good to chat. All right, we've got a Smeg appliance to give away and some Wallace cinema tickets.
Let's give the cinema tickets to Alan and Dave, and we'll give Raymond the appliance.
All right. We love Smeg. They do a wonderful job. Great to have them on board, as always, for Feedback Friday, providing their terrific appliances. And it's been going for quite some time now, our relationship with the good people, Deputy Distributors and SMEG.
Absolutely.
So get in and score yourself one. Otherwise, wait till next Friday, and it could be you walking away with the appliance or, indeed, the wonderful Wallace movie tickets. Dean at Parafield Gardens, who are you adding to our Writers' Week lineup?
I think Alfred Hitchcock, because he was the first person that brought in all the major thrillers like Vertigo and Psycho and The Man Who Knew Too Much. And also, besides writing them, he directed a lot of them too.
Great choice.
I guess screenwriting is writing, isn't it?
Well, a lot of people have suggested Stephen King. Imagine if you had King and Hitchcock on a panel. How good would that be?
Yeah, that'd be remarkable. Rita and Oakton, good morning.
Good morning. I would like to nominate Shakespeare, with his, especially the one play that he has, Much to Do About Nothing, where the favourite quote is something about people bluffing their way and puffing up, and really it ends up in all BS. And I'm thinking that would be perfect for the state election that's coming up.
Oh, imagine that. You know what's incredible? So many terms that we use in everyday English to this day were written by Shakespeare for the first time. I've just done a Google search. There's an author called Bernard Levin who wrote this: "If you cannot understand my argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you can recall your salad days, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you act more in sorrow than in anger, if your wish is farther to the thought, if your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you've ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy, if you've played fast and loose, been tongue-tied, a tower of strength, hoodwinked, in a pickle, knitted your brows, made a virtue of necessity, insisted on fair play, slept not one wink, stood on ceremony, danced attendance, had short shrift, cold comfort, or too much of a good thing, you were quoting Shakespeare."
Amazing, isn't it?
First guy to write them down.
Yeah, remarkable. Let's go to Normanville. Leonie, good morning.
Good morning, Will. How are you going?
Good.
I would like to see the VIP of the Adelaide Writers' Week to be Colin Teeley. He's one of my favourite authors ever. Being sent to my grandmother's place in Whyalla, she only had Wilbur Smith trilogy or whatever it was.
Yep.
And she did have a Colin Teeley book. So that was my saving grace. And he was an amazing, simple, very graceful writer. And it encouraged my love of reading. And also, obviously, Storm Boy, Son of the Stubble, Albatross, Magpie Island, and also Ruth Park. Even though she was a New Zealander, I loved her work, and particularly playing Beatty Bow.
Did she write the Harp of the South as well? Was that her?
Think she did, and Mrs.
That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I tell you what, Leonie, I'm with you on Colin Teeley. I love Colin Teeley.
I tell you what's going to be hard is awarding a meat tray this morning.
Yeah. Well, we had so many great entries.
How do you pick? So many great, and such a wide variety of sources for our very own commercially successful writers.
Do you know what it shows for a totally mainstream audience like ours, how much affection and love and knowledge there is about books. And just imagine if you did have a festival that was diverse, not doctrinaire, not just narrowly casting into one certain space, not obsessed with politics as well, like writing for the joy of writing.
Yeah.
With the politics too. You could have people talking about Palestine. You could have people talking about Israel.
But when did it become exclusively about politics?
Maybe can we just talk about something else too?
Right, yeah. Writing. Inspiration, imagination,
that way.
Joy.
I'm still laughing about yesterday's interview. You get somebody on to talk about an alternative writers festival, and the last thing they want to do is talk about who's actually going to it or any of the controversy about anything they've written. Wasn't that just a little moment for 2026?
Certainly was. 10 to 9, we're going to check traffic, count down the top 5 moments of the week and give away the meat tray next.
Still got lights on the blink to look out for this morning on the drive in at Glenside, Green Hill Road near Conningham Street, Burst Water Main slowing things up at St Peters, Paynham Road near Winchester Street. Pretty slow too at the moment, heading in through Oaklands Road and Dawes Road, just at the Marion Road intersection, and cameras Exeter Terrace, Dudley Park and Ifold Road at Elizabeth Park. Snooze Super Summer Sale is on now. Save up to 50% off selected mattresses and up to 40% off selected bed frames and up to 40% off bedding. Sale ends Sunday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Oh, geez, it's hot in here. Can someone pass the Morford air? Oh, that's better.
When the temperature is too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air, Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company. Morford Air has kept South Australians perfectly comfortable for over 50 years. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, you can always reach for the Morford Air. Look for the bright blue building at 602 Marion Road or visit morfordair.com.au.
Morford Air. Frank, let's talk about your feelings at work.
Oh, this guy is good. It's too good. He picked up everything so fast.
Sounds great. Tell me more.
Great. Yeah, it's great that we're getting the best customer reviews we've ever gotten before. It's great he's teaching the team new skills. I've just never hired anyone like him before.
If you're not used to great employees, you need Indeed.
Get a $200 credit from Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/200. Indeed. Get what you need. T's and C's apply.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae Joint Health is now on sale at Chemist Warehouse for just $55.99 a bottle. You save over $16 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
A lot can change in 18 months. The shows you binge watching. Your favourite team's fortunes. Maybe even finishing that DIY project. But with Sterling Homes 18-month fixed-price contracts, one thing won't change. The price. So you can rest easy. Knowing that when you're finally ready to build, there won't be any surprises. Except the luxury upgrades. Included at no extra cost. Your price, your peace of mind. Guaranteed for 18 months with Sterling Homes. T's and C's apply.
So you live on the gazillionth floor of an apartment building, and you were told no flies up here, mate. Guess what? They're wrong. Flies, mozzies, and even birds. How do you keep them out? How do you keep your pets in? Phantom Screens, that's how. Phantom Screens have retractable screen solutions for almost any situation. Single doors, sliding doors, stackers, you name it. Keep the creepy crawlies out and let the fresh air in. PhantomScreens.com.au. Phantom Screens. Now you see it. Now you don't.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
At Coles, you can save all summer long. Right now, get half price on Huggies Ultra Dry Bulk Nappy Pants. 24-pack to 36-pack, now just $11 each. Save in-store or online at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 9. Should we count down the top 5 moments of the week? What do you think? Let's do it. All right. Starting in the number 5 spot. Last week, Ned came in to do some fishing, to some cooking after having fished, and that was great at 8:30. And Ned turned up at 5 to 9. Any concerns about the 5 o'clock start?
So I was going to talk to you as someone who has early starts and a co-host that has been known from time to time to not arrive on time.
We meet every second Tuesday of the month. That earlier this morning, Sam Daddo and Ned McHenry, the announcement of a brand new show on 5AA starting next week, 5 till 6 a.m. live each and every morning. Early breakfast, Ned McHenry, Sam Daddo. That's going to be terrific. Covering all the topics of the day. It's not just sport. I know Sam Daddo would love it just to be motorsport the entire time, but it's the topics of the day. They're going to be doing news and all sorts. So really looking forward to that. Great to see more local media stuff getting made in Adelaide, not being imported from interstate or overseas. Number 4 spot.
David Penberthy, I saw you in Aldinga just after Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Linda. At the supermarket?
Yeah, you're being a foodie again, you know.
I was buying
but
Mexican
you
stuff
remember
at
me
Drake's.
because I told you were much better looking.
You
in the
tease,
flesh
Linda.
than, we all know Will's good looking, but you were much
good
better looking, yeah.
How about that?
Linda can ring in any time.
Number 4 spot, David, making the ladies at the Aldinga Shopping Centre swoon. Number 3 spot.
What's it been like living there?
Well, normally it's really nice. I mean, it's a great place to bring up kids and, you know, really, really nice. So this is kind of surreal, having masked, armed sort of people running around and picking people off the street. So a little scary, but, you know, also, you know, things are just kind of going on anyway, normally. So it's really weird.
Yes, we spoke with an expat South Australian calling Minneapolis home as the eyes of the world were on ice operations there after
From Whyalla to Minneapolis.
From Whyalla to Minneapolis. It was an extraordinary political situation unfolding in the United States. Number 2 spot.
Just finally from me, Premier, Will's too modest to ask this question, but can you confirm his mail that he aired yesterday that you had a secret coffee with Elizabeth DeBars in the eastern suburbs on Saturday?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, you can confirm the rumour.
Unfortunately, I can confirm the rumour. I wasn't at an unfortunate meeting.
Yes, we had in our rumour file on earlier this week that was a meeting that didn't look like it was going particularly well, and subsequent to it, the announcement came that there would be a nurses' strike coming up in the early part of February. The number one spot of the week, I don't think there's much, you're not going to need too many guesses to get this one, I suspect.
And I think, if people are in breach of hate laws, then they should be charged in the appropriate courts for that. They shouldn't be tried in the media.
Well, it's not about being tried in the media. I mean, there's been a big political discussion around it. Our Premier wrote a very thoughtful letter to it, which has had massive public support. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm waiting for you to ask a question.
Yes, the tense exchange between David and one of the organisers of the new Constellation Writers Festival, which sounds like it's going to be eerily like the old Adelaide Writers Festival.
They've got to be charged with false advertising, these people, because I thought it was about the free and robust exchange of ideas.
Some ideas. It's about the free and robust exchange of some ideas.
Not the festival of dangerous ideas, the festival of identical ideas.
Exactly right. Speaking of writing, we're going to meet Trader Giveaway thanks to the great people at Chanella's, as we asked our audience to come up with the dream authors they'd love to go along and see live.
And look, seriously, we've had dozens and dozens of entries and calls, and thanks so much. Such a diverse and clever and erudite and funny, self-deprecating and highbrow and lowbrow combination of writers from every hue and genre. Being a little bit parochial with it, we're going to give it to Leonie, who in effect was sort of a spokeswoman for many, but I thought that Leonie's call, where she did such a good job of explaining what the books of Colin Teeley meant to her, and as someone who still can't get through the movie version of Storm Boy without tearing up, I'm showing my bias there by picking Leonie for the Chanella's meat tray.
There you go, Steph. Your politically charged Nicki Minaj. Have a listen to it. Good Lord. We're in no danger of using that to play us out anytime soon, but we are here to give the people what they want at the end of the day.
Surely even the most right-wing listener says, I draw the line at that rubbish.
That's right. The Fuel Watch, it's better to be a member with RAA Road Service. The cheapest spots, the Yugo Clearview, $1.47.9. Diesel at Nailsworth, the Solo there is $1.59.5. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the power comes back on as soon as possible if it's out for you. Stay listening to 5AA.
See you Monday after Sam and
Catch
Dad.
you Monday.